Hello world, thank you for coming to Snap Together Saturday. Sorry for the rough start there. My camera froze, and I had to close OBS, reopen it, which, kills the stream. Fun times. Anyway, we're here. It is Snap Together Saturday. I missed a week last week just because, I don't know, AWA caused me to get behind. I finished the Deltanius, on Thursday and ended up doing a stream last Saturday. Just that's how it rolled. That's how it's whatever. It was before Christmas. It's whatever. So, tonight I'm building the RX-75 Guntank from Mobile Suit Gundam 1979. It's part of the. It's one of the good guy units. One of the white base units. This is the box. You saw it in my countdown. Inside are some runners and some instructions. Tells you this little pilot unit in there. You can do all kinds of stuff to it. It shows what it looks like when it's painted. I can't read this. Map of the runners. Instructions. I was surprised the the treads are rubber parts, so that's nice. I thought it was gonna be solid treads. I mean, well, it kind of is, but they're rubber, so they will rotate. That's good. But yeah, it should be a quick build because it's a small unit. I have with me the Gundam and the Guntank. So I have the gun cannon as well here. Sorry, gun cannon. Because this is Guntank that I'm building. So that'll complete the trilogy. I've also got some other guys off camera. You can't see them. I will show them to you in a minute. But I will say, what's a good guy without some bad guys to fight? So, I just knocked my camera. Let's get into it. I've got some new toys to play with. With some paint markers. I don't know if I've actually been using them for this build. We shall see. Let's just get into it. Oh, I forgot to get my whatever. The one thing I didn't think to grab. Alright. Let's go ahead and do this. We watching some YouTube shit over here. So yeah. Didn't minimize that. I need my OBS up here. YouTube over here. Off my digital BGM and turn on properties. Picture here so I don't cut off too much of what my screen is. Okay. Take this out of full screen. that's going to do it. So we're going to build from the, unlike most units, we're going to build from the bottom up, which is interesting. Like the usual trend with mobile suits I've seen is to build from the head down. We're doing that here. Hope you can hear this. Doesn't seem to be. Being detected. Okay, whatever, you're not getting my audio. Whatever. Sorry. It should be coming through. I don't know why it's not. I can't do much about that. I don't want to waste time on that. So, let's build this thing. Where's my file?
movie that would potentially perform better, especially if we can identify the problems and why this movie didn't succeed, which largely comes down to the marketing for it was absolutely abysmal. It was
start this video over just so you can play along with me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJ Omega channel for day 1204 of our daily content grind. I completely overshot the big 1200 because we've had so many shout outs lately, thanks to all of you being very generous. I know this is an expensive time of year for a lot of people. I do appreciate all the new signups to the Patreon. I do have one shout out in the queue that I have to wait for, specifically for my neighbors in this building to be vacant, because it's going to be a very loud shout out. But for now, I'm going to keep that one on the back burner. You will get it, don't worry, because it's a very funny one. I want to do it. And today we're just going to kind of focus on my hopes and dreams for the Transformers brand in the year 2025. Since we're about done with this year, we are anticipating a lot of big things for the franchise next year. I would just like to go over a few of the things I am really hoping for. And then we can kind of go back and see how much they actually did. Like this time, late December next year, you can go back to this video and find out how much did they actually live up to. Gonna bet you, not all of it. So let us begin, and I think the big thing is probably the thing that a lot of Transformer fans want any update on whatsoever. I want to find out about Transformers Reactivate. At this point, I don't even care if it's a cancellation. I just want to find out something. I want to hear something about the status of this game. Right now, the Instagram account was deactivated. Ironically, given the name. Now, I believe a Twitter post said that this was in error, but they still haven't gotten it back up as of this recording. So, who knows? Who knows? We don't. Nobody knows because they won't tell us anything. We were supposed to get an update. Like, they announced it, like, okay, we're not going to have an update for the rest of 2023, but stay tuned for updates next year in 2024. Well, 2024 is over. And now I'm still waiting for some kind of update to actually be announced. Show me something. Like, we are counting on leaks from, like, the earlier build of the game, which, frankly, didn't look half bad. For a game that was still in development, I would say it actually kind of looked good. It looked like a game I would actually like to play. But we've had zero. We've had absolutely nothing. This game has been in development for, like, in some form or another, this game has been in development for what 7 or 8 years or so. The toys that came out very recently have had like 2020 copyright stamps on them, so they were supposed to come out years ago. And they won't say anything. They will not give us any kind of definitive update. Just tell me something. Tell me, like, okay, well, we switched engines and we're basically redeveloping from the ground up. You know, tell me, like, characters you're putting in. Show me a character model. Show me updated artwork. Give me some more storyline to speculate over. Tell me something. Tell me anything.
21,
yeah,
19.
It's getting really, really frustrating. I really want a high-end, very high-quality Transformers video game title. But when the first developer who genuinely tries to do that is, like, flaking this bad, it does give me concern that this franchise is just never going to work in the video game department. So yeah, sometime next year, and again, I don't even care if it's a cancellation, just tell me something about this game. Anything. Likewise, I hope we find out something for Transformers 1. I know the box office was not great, but there's so much behind it. It's such a well-received movie. I genuinely feel like a second go at it would actually produce results. I think the goodwill and word of mouth that this movie created would actually be able to be carried forward into a second movie that would potentially perform better. especially if we can identify the problems and why this movie didn't succeed, which largely comes down to the marketing for it was absolutely abysmal. It was incredibly misinforming about the product that we actually got in theaters. If we can get something more consistent, if we can actually get something that is like, here's the tone of the movie, like there's a little bit of comedy in it, but for the most part you're in for like a really tragic story, or like a real look into like Transformers as characters, not fancy CGI set pieces, then you might have had something. If Paramount can actually learn from its mistakes, I'm dreaming, we might actually get something really good out of this if they are willing to do it again. Keep in mind, The Last Night, box office wise, an abysmal failure. Like, absolutely horrible numbers. So they are willing to take another stab at a franchise that didn't turn in money on its last results. But then again, like it's kind of like the movie franchise for Transformers is kind of concerning right now, because Rise of the Beast didn't do well, 1 didn't do well, Bumblebee did okay but not fantastic. So the last 3 movies only got like a half hit out of 3. That's not great. It's not great. They are still developing the Transformer G.I. Joe movie, so we know that's moving forward. But that's pretty much all we know. We have no idea. I just want some word on, like, are we going to get a Transformers 2? Are we going to get something to indicate, like, yeah, we're actually going to get a continuation of this storyline, because this is a really good storyline I want to see again. And speaking of storyline, I really hope Earthspark gets a satisfying conclusion. We are assuming that, they found out about the cancellation, into season 2 production, and that season 2 is going to get a satisfying finale. I hope that's the case. I hope they didn't get I hope they didn't just get the rug pulled out from under them, because they were expecting a 3-season show, got a 2-season show that they were going to call a 3-season show, because TV is weird. I'm hoping we get a satisfying ending, because I really feel like this show is criminally underrated. I still support this show. I still do videos for this show because I genuinely enjoy this show. And I think a lot of people just really did not give it a chance. That said, I also see why people didn't take to it. So, you know what? Fine. That's fair. I just hope that whatever the conclusion to the story is, I hope they had enough time to wrap it up and actually give us something satisfying for the ending. I hope they didn't plan to leave it on a big season 2 cliffhanger. Like Unicron's bearing down on the planet, and then they just cut to black and see in season 3. Whoops! I really hope that's not the case. This would be the second time in recent history a show of mine got cut off without getting the full run of 3 seasons they were expecting. Rip Owl House. But they had time to make a satisfying conclusion out of what they had left. I don't know about Earthspark. I don't know if we're going to get that. But my fingers are crossed. I'm hoping that is the case. And we're going to talk about Earthspark and the TV series. I hope Cyberworld isn't what I fear it's going to be. My fear with Cyberworld is that it is going to be a very safe, back to basics, cookie cutter, like predetermined, homogenized Transformers experience. Oh, the Autobots are, Autobots and Decepticons battling over Energon on Earth. Woo! With a name like Cyberworld, I do expect there to be some kind of twist. Like, we might get a little bit more metaphysical. We might get a little digital with the fight between Autobots and Decepticons. As long as it's doing something fresh, I liked Earthspark a lot because it was doing something fresh with the old Transformers formula. And I feel like that's going to be used as the scapegoat for why the show did not do well. Don't blame the very poor toys or the very bad partner that is Paramount that kept hopping its time slot around, which will kill any show no matter how good it is. Don't blame those things. No. blame how weird the story was, blame how far away it was. No, obviously they want Autobot versus Decepticon stories. They don't want to see like Autobot Megatron. They don't want to see a new species of Cybertronian. Ugh. I'm hoping it's not safe. My fear with Cyberworld is that it's going to be safe after Earthspark failed. I feel like the same as Paramount. I don't feel like they're going to learn from their mistakes when it comes for the next Transformers movie. I worry Hasbro's not going to learn from their mistakes when it comes to the brand new cartoon. I feel like they're going to blame the wrong thing instead of listening to fans, and we're going to end up with basically the same style of show, which would be very, very frustrating to me. And the same style of toy line that isn't selling. Because Earthspark was very easy to find every single time. There was never an Earthspark toy that I ever had trouble finding until the late releases, which became very scarce. I still do not have any form of hashtag.
Fuck. It wasn't going to be very mobile anyway, but... I'm going to get the glue. I'll be right back. My model submit was right in front of me the whole time. Okay. This really calls for the drill in method, but I don't have. I'd take a really fine drill begin with. I also need my pliers. That's not happening. Okay. That's going to break again, most likely. Alright, anyway, picking up where I left off. Remember that for the other side.
Takara sold the Warrior class. Need to go get that. But there's a Deluxe supposedly on the way. Assuming that didn't get canceled too. Okay, I'm ranting on Earthspark again. Basically, I want Cyber World to continue the vibe of something different. Something fresh. We've been telling this story for 40 years. Do something different. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I just feel like after the failure of the last series, I just feel like the different approach is going to get the blame and they're going to go back to basics. That's the fear. So I hope I'm right. I hope my fears are unfounded in that regard. And speaking of something different, I really hope all of the 13 primes we get are just ridiculous toys. I hope they go out of their way to make the 13 stand out and be like the weirdest toys they've done in a while. And there's so much room for that. There really is a lot of room for that. We've already seen a few, and to be fair, they are a little bit typical, but they are doing something, at least interesting with their alt modes. Prima is this kind of lunar buggy vehicle, which is not something we normally get to see. I really, really like Solus Prime's vehicle mode. She looks great. Megatronus is a tank. Okay, it's the Fallen. Fallen's alt mode was a tank. I have to give them this one, so okay, fine. He can be a tank, but that does seem very typical. I want weird stuff. I want unusual stuff. I want them to go out of their way to make these things as oddball as possible. Onyx Prime seems like such a good opportunity to do something that's like really stupid with a Transformer toy, and I am all for that. As long as they're introducing the 13 who are supposed to represent all these different branches of what a Transformer can be, I want them to go out of their way to make them all really, really weird and unique. I want that out of, like, Amalgamus Prime. What is he going to be? What do you do with him? Like, clearly a lot of people have said weaponizer toy. So, like, pull apart weapons, that can reassemble into, like, a full transforming robot. Okay, you might have something there. It's technically not what Amalgamus is all about. I'm just super curious how they're going to handle his character. Alchemist is another one. Alchemist we don't have an alt mode for. Like, he is loosely based from his design. He is loosely based on Macadam from Cyberverse, which is the only time that that Prime was prominent in fiction. So that makes sense. But he transformed in that series in Shadow because his alt mode was so monstrous and terrifying. That was the joke. Like, we can't even show you what he's turning into. Just know that it is scaring everybody in the bar, including Megatron. His transformation intimidates Megatron. How are you going to live up to that Age of the Primes toy? How are you going to do? Especially because I think it's going to be a deluxe. I don't think it's going to be like some towering monstrosity of metal or anything. It's very... they have such a good opportunity to do stuff that's just absolutely ridiculous. And I hope they jump to it. I hope my Cronus is something super weird. I hope he's very tiny in the box with stuff that make up for it and make a really different toy out of it. I hope that, you know, Onyx... I hope Onyx does manage to get a vehicle mode out of that Centaur mode and then still somehow has the bipedal mode he has here. I hope Quintus is some, like, you know, like Cthulhuoid monster in alt mode. You know, I hope that, I hope they figure out something weird for Nexus Prime, like a leader class whose limbs all, like, detach and transform into alternate vehicles. Like, he's 5, like, his alt mode is 5 vehicles instead of just 1, to get the combining element of the character in there. Weird things. I am hoping for very weird things. And I feel like some of them are going to give it and some maybe not, but we'll see. Speaking of Combiner, you love how I'm like linking all these together so smoothly? Speaking of Combiners, I'm hoping the aerial bots are actually more interesting than they're looking so far. My least favorite Combiner Wars figures were the aerial bots because all 4 of them just kind of felt very samey. You know, when you all have to be the same length and the same shape so they can all form the same shaped arm, the same shaped leg, they all have to have the same combiner block in the same spot. That does limit a lot of what you can do engineering wise, and really I just felt like I was playing with the same toy 4 times over. To be fair, that's not very different from how they felt in G1 as well. But I'm hoping that with modern engineering and just like more like sensibility in the approach, that at the very least the new aerial bots are going to feel unique. I want them to feel different from each other. I don't want to feel like I'm playing with the same toy 4 times over. Especially because they don't really need to like play into Superion nearly as much, especially the 2 that turn into the leg parts, because they just have to like plug onto the back of his skeleton leg. They don't have to do any kind of weird combination. They don't have to do like the split torso trick that the ARM figures are going to have to do. That will limit them. But then again, you know, that same gimmick was applied to a couple of toys in Legacy that were actually pretty good. I like the drag strip. I liked drag strip from that line. The point being, I have a fear that they're just doomed to always be just kind of samey. And I'm hoping that they do enough to make them like feel different. So like once I turn him into Superion, I have a reason to dismantle him and play with the individual toys again. Because I gotta tell you, I have had Superion combined for a long time now.
How you doing?
Don't feel like changing that.
My stream.
Really don't. I am hoping that what we get with Star Convoy as the Titan for next year is not the end of the gigantic Titans. Now, I will be fair. I was not big on the last one we got, the Nemesis. Like the previous to Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave I really liked, but the Nemesis just felt like such a nothing. Because the Nemesis is in G1 on...
Yeah, the Guntank is a tank first. That's its whole thing. I don't know if it predates the use of bipedal ones, but it's definitely different in that regard. It's like one of the earliest mobile suits. I think Xeon might have had some earlier ones, but yeah.
Screen for like less than 30 seconds before it crashes on Earth. It's not like the Ark that was there for almost every episode of the first 2 seasons. You know, it was just a ship that caught up to the Ark and, you know, like fulfilled a part of the plot. That's it. It's more famous for being in Beast Wars, and if it was done the way it looked in Beast Wars, if the robot mode and the extra features to it were Beast Wars based, I would actually be into it. I would actually desire that toy. It's nice as a companion piece to the arc, but it's not a character. And like, if I'm dropping $200, I want it to be a character. I know we are low on gigantic characters who could potentially be Titans, but my hope for 2025 is that we are going to find out the status of those gigantic Titans. You know, Star Convoy, okay, it's a tight little $150 Titan, cool, fine, whatever. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic toy, but I still think there's plenty of space and and a few options there for those gigantic $200 Titans, and I want to find out that we actually have more of those on the way. Whether it is like an announcement before the end of the year, like this is your Titan for 2026, or just Evan and the crew from the development going, we haven't cut that off. Like we're still planning like gigantic Titans. One or the other. I just need to know that the big Titans are going to be okay, even though we now have a smaller scale for them. And on that note, we did see that we are getting an extra Titan next year in Trypticon. Granted, it's just a repaint. But it was specifically mentioned as a Gen Selects figure. And that's another hope I have for 2025 is the return of Generation Selects. I really, really liked the vibe of Selects. I liked that it was putting out these like super obscure characters, like the kind of thing that FunPub would put out. Like Selects always felt like a replacement for the oddball stuff BotCon would come up with. The difference is they're just filling gaps. They're doing like late era FunPub stuff that really wasn't as popular because it wasn't nearly as clever or inventive. It was usually just repaint them to look like Diaclone. But Selects is a way of making up for that, than having that kind of spirit. The problem is, we've seen less and less of Selects the last couple of years. Trypticon coming out in that line, that's a huge improvement. The box looking like something, that's a huge improvement. You know what killed Selects? Aside from maybe going too far into the obscure and doing the same mistake FunPub made, which is not being creative enough. The mistake it made is they started selling it to like shops like GameStop, which that's one of the big reasons why that line got really annoying is because you'd go into some stores that were meant to buy Generation Selects for their online shop, but they bought in quantities that allowed them to put it in store in the brick and mortar locations, where all you had on the shelf was a blank brown box. Yeah. So now you had this absolute glut of toys at these stores, and it's not just GameStop that did it. A lot of like collector stores did it too. Of toys that you couldn't even see without breaking the seal, right? All you had was a name on the box. It was really frustrating, and I think just that caused overproduction, that caused glut. I've bought Gen Selects toys at Ross on super deep liquidation. I want Gen Select to come back the way it's supposed to be. I want more imaginative ones. I want them to focus on online releases, not trying to get them into brick and mortars, because that's a mistake. It's in the name, Selects. It's meant for a select market. And that means you have a select few fans who are going to be interested in it. So it's not meant for mass retail. It does look like with the new box style that it is, going to continue in some form. They specifically made a point during this broadcast. Yeah, this is the new box for Selects going forward. Cool. That means we're getting more, right? And hopefully it's not just upgraded paint jobs like Trypticon here. Hopefully we get a few more really creative things. I would love for them to be old school BotCon creative. I would love for them to go into really cool colors and characters that would be really, really cool to get new toys of, but maybe not something that BotCon would have done late in their run. What would be perfect would be more BotCon toys. You know how fast we would be buying up that new Legacy Cybertron Hotshot if you redid it as BotCon Goldbug? Instantly. So that's the hope. That's the hope. I want Gen Selects to come back, and I want it to be really inventive again. So I think that's going to wrap it up here. Obviously, there's a lot more I'm expecting of the brand, but that's a tiny little video right there. And again, as I said, you could go back to this, a year from now and see just how much did they live up to. My bet is not everything, but we will see. So, let me know in the comments below what your hopes for 2025 are as far as Transformers go. Characters you're hoping to see, news you're hoping to get. Could be just about anything. So, I'll leave you to that. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
Analysis complete. Adapting translators to local language.
Are you out there?
Hello everyone, welcome to a very weird video that I think is probably the first of its kind on YouTube. For you see, this is a video with a countdown. As time ticks on, this video will gradually become more and more unwatchable. But how and why is this the case? Have I simply gone mad after nearly a decade on YouTube? No, I am the Spiffing Brit, a professional exploiter and breaker of algorithms, games, and occasionally international law. As many of you brilliant subscribers will know, a regular pastime of mine is to find loopholes and potential vulnerabilities with how YouTube's algorithm is designed. Often these are lots of little short decisions or actions that YouTubers can take to give them an unfair advantage against other creators. In the past, some of my small and humble little exploits have included printing views out of thin air whilst live streaming, duplicating like counts, and of course probably my most dangerous one, destroying another creator's video performance by buying ad space for it amongst terrible demographics. Yes, that's right, I introduced PvP mechanics into the YouTube algorithm. Surprisingly, after all of this, YouTube has not sent any assassins against me, or perhaps they never got past my ferocious battle corgi. Still, here I am, once again shouting from the rooftops that my next grand experiment is ready, and here you stand ready to be a glorious set of guinea pigs. My goal for this video is to manipulate YouTube watch time over a greater level than we've ever achieved. We have done previous videos where we increase watch time and retention on shorts, or videos that you must watch at a slower speed, and this has taught us that viewer retention and average viewer statistics are quite possibly the most valuable in determining how much YouTube wants to push a video. However, my previous experiments have lacked one important statistic: length. So before we dive into this video's experiment, it's time for a quick explainer of the modern YouTube algorithm, what's changed, why it's important, and how we can break it. So make sure you're comfortable, you've grabbed a warm cup of tea, as this is where the fun begins. YouTube's entire role is to recommend the right videos to the right person. If you like watching videos about medieval cooking techniques, then YouTube will serve them up to you. You'll see them on your home feed, you'll see them underneath videos you watch, they'll automatically play in the up next section. There will simply be no escape from these medieval cooking videos once you've started going down that rabbit hole. However, YouTube will actually serve up these videos based on a few criteria. So YouTube monitors you. They want to know what language you speak, what channels you're currently watching, and what videos you interact with and for how long you're watching them. It then runs a bunch of numbers and finds a selection of videos that might be a good fit for you. But before that step, YouTube does its most important check. It must weed out videos that it deems to be misleading or not as interesting. Remember, YouTube's entire goal is to get you watching videos for longer, because the longer you spend on the platform, the more money you make them thanks to adverts. So it screens for misleading or unsatisfying videos by serving up videos with a higher percentage of viewership more than ones with a lower percentage of viewership. Needless to say, in 2024, basically no one is using the sub feed anymore, so video recommendations are the most important thing, meaning average watch time is also the most important thing. This algorithmic decision of meritocratic performance is actually great on paper, as it generally means that better structured videos that get to the point of their purpose quickly will outperform more waffly ones spoken by British people that go on tangents. Wait a second! But there is a little bit more to this decision. What happens when a video covers the same topic but is a different length? So let's imagine video A is a 10-minute long video that has a 50% viewer duration. Video B is a 20-minute long video and it also has a 50% viewer duration. They are both watched on average for the same amount of time, meaning logically they are both the same amount of satisfaction in the eyes of YouTube. Wrong! YouTube will massively favor video B. It's got higher watch time, baby! So that video will not only get more views, but it will also make more money for the creator. This creates a weird calculation where in some examples, longer equals better. There are some very extreme examples of terrible creators exploiting video length for profit, like for example this one here. Wait, hang on a second, that's my Victoria Free live stream. This video here is the second most viewed Victoria Free video in the entire world. There are thousands of Victoria Free videos, and yet this nearly 4-hour-long live stream VOD is the second best of them. Why is this the case? Is it because it's a well-crafted, well-edited, perfectly executed idea? No. It is a good video, but it's just statistically broken. Because it's such a long video, the average watch time is over 1 hour and a half. This means that this stream has 3 times the average watch time as the next best video has total length. That's also my video, by the way. It's handcrafted, took us a lot of time to make, and very well executed. But statistically, it's terrible. The results are that this stream outperformed massively, and thanks to my dastardly strategy, it suppressed other videos in the recommendation feed, allowing me to make over £64,000 off of a 4-hour stream. Thanks YouTube, that was perfectly balanced. Oh wait, you're probably not used to creators talking about how much they actually make. Don't be alarmed, friends. I have to pay a lot of that revenue in tax, probably. Maybe some of it has to go to the interns to buy them food, and then the remaining 95% gets spent on my crippling addiction to Yorkshire tea. So more watch time is more good, and greater average watch time is more good. This means that the calculation to make the optimal video is rather simple. Make a video as long as possible while still keeping viewers interested. This basically means that all you need to do is craft a perfect SEO monstrosity with zoomer cuts, pan zoom, smiling celebrities, and just pander to the algorithmic equivalent of the everyman. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Dave. This is the strategy that has to be used by the people at the very top of YouTube. I can't blame them for it, because you reach a point where each ounce of personality you show, the market cap of your audience goes down by millions. Instead, you must become like white toast with butter. Plain, but very inoffensive. Perfect for when you're waking up and starting your day. So yeah, I can't exactly do that. I'm British for a start, which means that the French people probably stopped watching 5 minutes ago. On top of that, I like janky bad edits, and my sarcastic style of humor isn't exactly for everyone. If only there was an exploit that could make a longer form video retain a larger percentage of viewership and watch time. Oh dear, if only. Oh my god, is that a poorly designed feature YouTube made that nobody uses on the horizon? Yes, it is! Say hello to the YouTube video editing suite. From this screen, I can make edits and alterations to an existing video on YouTube. I can trim and cut sections out of it, blur details, insert audio tracks, apply end screens, and even spam info cards to remind you to buy merch every 5 seconds. Seriously, creators who use this, please stop. What are you doing? Go and brew a cup of tea. Now, these tools are hardly used. Mostly they exist to help YouTubers cover up mistakes like speeding in a school zone whilst driving a luxury car. Or if you're really special, YouTube will even let you insert footage back into videos. But outside of a few moments when Linus Tech Tips needed to add corrections into something, it's actually hard to find much evidence of creators using this. The main thing that I think actually sees the light of day is the cut tool. This actually serves a purpose outside of fixing errors. You see, most YouTube sponsor contracts stipulate that the ad read must be on a video for 2 to 3 years. This means that 2 to 3 years after upload, some creators will actually go through their back catalog of content and cut out the sections where they tell you that Raid Shadow Legends is the greatest video game ever conceived. Yeah, right, baby, it actually sucks. Yeah, I know, I just burnt a lot of bridges there. Your game sucks, mate. I'm never taking your money. Stop emailing me. Outside of covering up the past, there is a reason why it makes algorithmic sense to remove your older sponsor reads. Most people, when presented with a read, simply press the skip button and bypass the 30 to 90 second section of that video. This means that those sections massively lower the average watch time and retention of the overall video. So by removing a section where only 10% of the audience is watching and bringing it back to a 50% average retention section, then that's a net benefit on the video's performance. So logically, in the long term, that's better, that's more views and more money. But all of this is curious. What if we took it even further beyond? And what if we did it backwards? Yeah, this is where I had a brilliant idea. What if we created an average video with good statistics and then cut the end off of it? Welcome to my grand plan. You're currently watching one of 2 versions of a video. One version ends sooner than the other. If you're watching this video too late, then the entire second half of this video has been cut off and you'll never actually know what it was. You'll never even be able to watch it again. And the science behind it is rather simple. I can make a video like this be watched by 2 types of viewers. One set of viewers are watching a full-length version. If the video is 20 minutes long and the average watch time is 10 minutes, that video is given given me a 50% retention. However, the second viewer, which might be you, watches the second shortened version. Let's say this video is now only 10 minutes long, but you still watch it for 50% of its length. Well, the problem is that YouTube can't delete the watch time that this video has generated, and all of the statistics just pile up onto the back end from the original version. So all of those longer views are added onto the new shorter version of the video. If half the views are on the long version and half the views are on the shorter version, we balance out at an average watch time of 7.5 minutes or 75% retention. Of course, the longer the section that we end up deleting, the better. If I add a 10-hour long Skyrim Let's Play after this and people watched it for an average of 2 hours, I could probably end up with one of the highest average retentions on a 10-minute video that the world has ever seen. And you know what? Maybe that is what I've done. But you have absolutely no way of knowing, because there's a chance you're watching this video after the great cut. So there we go, job done. This video is perfect. I've just become a quadrillionaire and the largest YouTuber on the platform. Unfortunately, it's not quite that simple. There are a few limitations to this strategy that might unfortunately stop us from breaking YouTube entirely. Namely, market cap, interaction, and engagement. The first problem is hard to fix, as there is a finite amount of people on the planet who would be happy watching a video on YouTube exploits. YouTube knows this, so recommends videos accordingly. Generally, the best videos on YouTube are ones that are relevant to broad viral demographics. This is why you see someone like the Legal Eagle cover popular events rather than obscure but interesting legal cases from Madagascar. Now, there are a few ways I can manipulate and trick YouTube to improve this video's relevancy and raise the market cap. Namely, I can have you go into the comment section and say some relevant topical things and talk about how they definitely featured in this video. Here's a list of some popular current SEO terms active right now that you can claim I have somehow satisfied your interest of. Yes, I remember talking about that. Oh, and that one. Yes. Oh, how interesting. I love insert thing here. Not only does this help with the reach of the video, but it also counts as engagement. All forms of engagement with this video and the channel will work positively to this video's success. From commenting, liking, sharing, and even voting in community posts. Weird things like making clips of this video are another brilliant way of adding views. And in fact, there's a weird exploit that you can use to view bot without damaging a video's performance. Anyway, no, I'll save that for another day. It's too complicated and potentially illegal. But yes, it's entirely possible that this video right here will become my most viewed video. And of course, it's going to be a video that outside of a select few, no one will ever see it in its entirety. Of course, some people might spoil what comes after this. And so that's why I think it's important for you to comment and wildly speculate what the other half of this video actually was. I like it to be a mystery. So if you could please go into the comment section and write some absolute wild ideas about the other half of the video, then that would be great. Of course, the real ones know it's going to be the hotly anticipated Mavis Beacon teaches typing exploit video. Whoa, what a banger that's gonna be. Anyway, this is where you watching at home are going to be separated into your two groups. If you missed the original version, don't be upset. I'm a strong believer that some things shouldn't last forever, and online most content is preserved. So perhaps just this once, it's okay to create a piece of media that is finite and unique. For this project to be classed as a success, there will need to be a long-term analytical trend that shows that the average watch time had a positive impact on the impressions and reach of this video. These impacts will probably take a week or so to materialize, so check back in a few days' time and take a look at how things are shaping up. Anyway, thanks for watching, you majestic sausages. We're about to continue the video for some of you, but for others, better luck next time. You should have had notifications enabled. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now. Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the other half of the video. This is something that not everyone's going to see, and who could have guessed it? It is a British food, snacks and drinks tier list, because I know that for too long people have been wondering what my incredibly important opinions are, and today we will answer them. This is quite possibly the most important thing you can ask a British person, and one of the most critical determining factors when it comes to knowing whether to trust a human being or to distance yourself from them. So yes, let's start with this lovely tier list. It's going to of course begin with Aero chocolate bars. Now these are quite fun. They're kind of like chocolate bars with air pockets in them, and you know what, I'm gonna say they're pretty good. They're nice, they're very tasty, but they can be a bit sickly. As far as chocolates go, it is definitely a pretty good category. Then we have After Eight mints. These are basically mint chocolates. They're very strong and minty, and many people like them. However, I don't think they're that great because I don't like mint chocolate. I think that's a terrible idea. If I want mint, I'll just eat toothpaste, mate. Then we've got Heinz beans. I'm actually gonna combine Heinz beans and cheese with beans on toast in the not great category. This is probably the most most controversial opinion of the night, and I'm sure many of you are currently hammering into the keyboard that I should yeet myself off of Big Ben. However, I just think beans are bad. They're just a bad vessel for food, and adding them to bread and cheese doesn't exactly improve the situation. So yeah, not great. Then we've got black pudding, otherwise known as blood pudding. It gets its name because it is basically blood mixed with herbs and barley. Definitely quite a disgusting food when you think about it. However, I think it's bloody lovely. I guess I'm just too British for some people. And yes, we in the UK never stopped quite eating like we were in the Blitz or we were role-playing feudal peasants. Then we've got bounty chocolate bars. These are a disgrace to Britain. It's just disgusting. It's just the worst chocolate bar. I hate it. Then we've got bourbon biscuits. Oh, these are fantastic. These are bloody lovely. A chocolate biscuit with a layer of chocolate cream on the inside. Oh, dipping that into a cup of tea is a blessing. And then we've got dairy milk buttons in yogurt form. These are pretty good. I think these are all right. They're kind of tasty, but it's just very sickly. Then we've got crackers and cheese. This is a blessing to Britain. Whoever created crackers and then had the idea of putting cheese on them, phenomenal. Then we've got KP cheese balls. These are a disgrace to Britain. They're disgusting. Along with Cheez-Its. I think they're just abysmal. Cheese flavored crisps are revolting. They just kind of taste of chemicals. If I wanted to eat cheese, I'd eat cheese. I wouldn't eat synthetic cheese. I'm not an American layering plastic on top of a burger. Oh, then we've got a prime lovely little dessert cake in the top of a glacier cherry. Oh, I love these. Are good fun. They're pretty good. I know it's kind of controversial. I think in the modern day and age, people have fallen off of the love of the Bakewell, but I think they're still pretty solid. Next up, we've got Chew-Its. These are kind of like a sweet. They're pretty good. I think they're all right. Nothing sensationally great. Oh, and finally, we've got chip butty. Yes, this is good. I can let the northern fly out, mate. This is a chip butty. If you've never had chip butty, it is potato chips or the fries for the American persuaded people, usually with some kind of sauce, probably ketchup. It's laid inside of bread or cob or bap, depending on who you speak to and which part of the UK they're from. This is bloody lovely. It is absolutely bloody lovely. Oh, and then we've got Terry's Chocolate Orange. This is a blessing to Britain. A certified Christmas banger. If you are celebrating Christmas and you don't get a Terry's Chocolate Orange, something has gone wrong in your life. On the inverse of the holiday chocolate scale, we have cream eggs. I think these are not great. This is because they are rammed with fondant icing on the inside. They are sickly. Eating them makes you feel like your arteries are clogging up and you're going to drop dead of stage 75 diabetes at a moment's notice. But it's okay because Britain is saved as we have crumpets. Yeah, crumpets are great. They're pretty good. It's basically a form of bread, usually with butter, toasted. It's just really quite nice. Oh, and then we have what is probably my favorite chocolate bar of all. It's the Crunchy, ladies and gentlemen. This is a blessing to Britain. It is honeycomb or cinder toffee wrapped inside of chocolate, handed to you in a bar. It is wonderful. One of Cadbury's greatest creations, and then after the Americans bought it, it's gone downhill. I want my original Crunchy bar back, but I know it's never gonna happen, so I'll still remember you, Crunchy bar. You were amazing. Speaking of Americans ruining things, it's the Cadbury's Dairy Milk Bar, which is now in the not great category. This used to be a phenomenal piece of chocolate, and then Kraft ruined everything. I hate mega corporations. But hey, if there's one mega corporation I love, it's McVitie's, because they made the digestive biscuit, which is bloody lovely. It's a very solid biscuit, perfect for dunking in tea. Very nice. Then we have what I believe is a kebab. Kebab meat, it's all right. It's pretty neutral as far as meals go. A fantastic meal, however, is fish and chips, which is just a massive fish dipped in batter, made very crispy and served with large quantities of potato. Yes, this is genuinely one of the nicest things in the universe. I know other countries have attempted to do fish and chips, but every time I've tried them, they're just disappointing. If you want a proper fish and chips, come to the UK and give it a try. Okay, next up we've got fish fingers. These are not great. Look, if you're gonna have battered fish, have it in the form of fish and chips, not in the form of tiny string reformed fish. Oh, and then we've got Freddos. Yes, this is a bloody lovely chocolate. If you don't know, the Freddo is actually how we in the UK gauge inflation. You see, Freddos in the bygone era used to cost only half a threepence, whereas now in the modern day, Freddos can be sold on the black market for upwards of £50,000. Put simply, they're very tasty. Then we've got Fridge Raiders. These don't really feel very British. They're kind of all right. It's just breaded chicken that you eat cold. It's fine. It's a tasty snack. Fruit Winders, however, yeah, this is pretty good. This is basically pureed fruit in a winder form. I think there is an American alternative, but it's not as cool as our British alternative. So yeah, it's in the pretty good category. Oh, and then, ladies and gentlemen, oh yes, they say that the British god on the seventh day didn't rest, for he created something better. He created hobnobs. Yes, this is a blessing to Britain. For those that don't know, the hobnob is like a digestive biscuit, but made more oaty. It's got a stronger form to it, it can suck up more tea, and as a result, it is perfect in every way. This is the Tea Dunker's Delight.
Alright, I'm gonna look for that other piece, and I'll be right back here. That was faster than I expected. It landed behind me. My tweezers.
I will accept no slander and besmirchment of the hobnob's name. Truly fantastic. Anyway, we can also do some quickfire ones. Hula hoops, they're pretty good. They're hoop-shaped crisps, or chips if you're foreign. They're pretty tasty. Then we've got Iron Brew. This is a blessing to Britain. This is the greatest thing to come out of Scotland ever. I used to believe that Hume was potentially the greatest Scottish export with his fantastic takes on philosophy. However, no, Iron Brew is objectively better. It tastes fantastic, and it is so good that for a while America banned it. It has no discernible taste, and if you were to describe it to someone, you wouldn't be able to. Safe to say, you need to try some Iron Brew. Okay, next up we've got Jaffa Cakes. Once again, another controversial opinion. I think they're just alright. Okay, look, if you grew up watching the Yogscast, you're probably going to be quite angry at me, but Jaffa Cakes, they're just kind of, they're fine. I'm not going to dunk it into tea. It's got terrible form for that. So for a biscuit slash cake, yeah, it's just not very good. Oh, then we've got Hartley Strawberry Jam. This is pretty good. It's a solid form of jam. Nice to put on your toast. Nice to put on your crumpets. Nice to put inside of your chip butties. I'm not going to judge. But for an even better formation of jam, you have Jammy Dodgers. This is a biscuit with jam on the inside, and it's bloody lovely. Oh, there's also Jelly Babies. Yes, these are very good. They're just jellied sweets, but in the shape of babies, which makes them better than Chewits, because it cures the insatiable British desire to crush children. And ever since we closed down all of the smog factories in London, this is the only way you can get that kick. Next up, we have the Kinder Surprise Egg. I don't really think this is a British snack, because it's very German, but yeah, it's alright. It's basically just a chocolate egg with a small toy inside of it. Once again, Americans banned this because they believed it was a choking hazard and would kill children. I instead believe that the Kinder Surprise Egg is Darwinism in real time. Next up, we have KP Original Salted Peanuts. These are pretty good. They're just a decent snack. Magic Stars, these are all right. My wife really likes them. I think they're just a weirdly shaped form of chocolate. And then we have Moams. Once again, I'm like 90% certain this is German, not British, but hey, they're all right as well. Now we have some controversial opinions. Marmite. I don't think this is that good. It's not great. Now, once again, my wife loves Marmite. I think it's pretty bad. A spread that actively makes you want to throw up if you put too much on a piece of toast is probably not a good spread. Eating anything that has been coated in Marmite feels like you're back in the Blitz, and I'd much rather eat 700,000 hobnobs than have to eat anything with Marmite on it. So yeah, it's in the not great tier. Next up, we have Matchmakers. These are going straight into the disgrace to Britain tier. It's just a mint form of chocolate. It sucks. Next up, we have the Tesco Meal Deal. This is going to go into the it's alright tier. Basically, for those of you that don't know, in the UK, we can go into most major supermarkets and pick up a sandwich, a snack, and a drink, usually for a round price. Recently, I picked up a Tesco Meal Deal, which netted me 3 sandwiches, a pot of watermelon, and a large drink, all for the low cost of £4. So yeah, it's pretty good. And whilst relying on them entirely will probably lead you to an early grave, for the nation's tradespeople, the Tesco Meal Deal is a glorious invention. Okay, next up we've got Millionaire's Shortbread, which is a shortbread topped with a very thick layer of caramel and then topped off with chocolate. This is bloody lovely. It's one of the tastiest things ever created. I love it. If something will kill me, it's gonna be this, and it would be a brilliant way to go out. Okay, then we've got a selection of crisps, place them all at the same time. Mini cheddars are going in the not great category. You know my opinion on cheesy crisps. Monster Munch are going in the pretty good category. Pom Bears are going into the bloody lovely section. Skips are going into pretty good. Watsits are going into a disgrace section. And Walker's Crisps are going into the it's alright. But finally, Space Raiders. Yes, pickled onion. Oh, this is bloody lovely. The Space Raiders and Monster Munch, actually, they should be on the same tier. These are crisps that are designed to contain so much flavor and acid that your mouth will burn after eating a packet. And for that reason and masochism, they just belong in the bloody lovely tier. Okay, next up, we've got Kipling Angel Slices. These are going into the it's alright category. Party Rings, I'm going to put in the not great category. Controversial opinion, I know, because I used to really like like party rings, but I don't actually like them that much anymore. Penguin biscuits are going in the blessing to Britain category because they contain terrible jokes. And despite the fact that the biscuit isn't that great, I don't care. I love a dad joke. Percy pigs, that's also going into the blessings for Britain. They're fantastic. Pepperami is a reformed salty meat stick, so we're gonna pop that in the disgrace to Britain section. And I guess we can immediately cover some other snacks like the pot noodle. It's just dried noodles that you add hot water to, and it's quite possibly the backbone that keeps the entire nation's student population alive. There's also the pasta and sauce sachets that aren't that great, but are even cheaper than pot noodles, but outside of camping holidays, you wouldn't really want them. Oh, then we've got potato smileys. These are going into the pretty good category. Pizza Express margarita pizza, that's going into all right. It's kind of fine. Twiglets, I'm gonna put in the it's all right tier. I know I said I don't like Marmite, and Twiglets are just Marmite flavored crisps, but my wife loves them, and she would probably kick me out of the house if I didn't put them there. Okay, now we've got some legendary cakes we can cover. The Colin the Caterpillar cake is a blessing to Britain and one of the greatest cultural exports we've ever invented. Colin the Caterpillar sweets, however, from M&S are going into the not great tier. They're an okay form of sweet. Drumsticks are as well. I'm also going to put in the not great tier. This is one of the few sweets where I actually know people who have lost teeth because of them. Not because they rot the teeth, but because they're so sticky and solid, you will actually end up breaking a tooth trying to eat them. Yorkie bars are alright, it's just a solid brick of chocolate. Turkish Delight I think is a disgrace, I hate it. Wagon Wheels as well. The combination of cream and jam is just weird. The Yo-Yo Bear fruit rollers I'm putting in the pretty good category. They're rather tasty. Drumstick squishies I'm also putting in pretty good because unlike the solid drumsticks, they won't kill you. Millions I'm going to definitely pop in the pretty good category as well. They're fantastically tasty. It's literally just condensed colored sugar. What's not to love? Weetabix, oh, that's a bloody lovely. Who doesn't love a good Weetabix for breakfast? And we've got the flake chocolate bar, that's all right. Fruit pastels, they're not great. Twister lollies, I'm gonna say pretty good. It's an ice lolly which contains a little bit of ice cream and frozen fruit flavor in a combination that's actually rather nice. Then we have, oh my, what is this? Branston small chunk pickled. Yeah, this is a disgrace to Britain. Look, I know there are old people who love it, but it's disgusting. Same for mushy peas. Anyone who orders mushy peas is just someone who would be okay eating dog's vomit, okay? It's disgusting. I'm just not a fan of mushy peas. And then we got Tango Orange. This can go into the it's all right category. And before we get to the most important thing on the list, I think we should deal with some of the food options. So we have pork pies. This is going into the pretty good category. I'm a big fan of pork pies, but I understand that a slab of reformed meat surrounded in pastry is kind of weird. It's a very dense form of meat as well. However, the sausage roll I think is bloody lovely because it actually minimizes the density of the pork to create an overall better balance between pastry and reformed pig. Next up, we have scones or scones if you're poor, which is usually had with cream and jam. This is going into the pretty good category. It's good for an afternoon tea, but you wouldn't exactly want it every day of the week. Then we've got Scotch egg. It is a semi-boiled egg wrapped inside of meat and then coated in bread. I'm actually going to say it's all right. I would have put it in pretty good, but I recently had some at an event, and about 40 minutes later, I developed a crippling migraine. So I'm going to blame that on the Scotch eggs. Okay, then we have shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie is great. It's mashed potato and then some mince and a bunch of vegetables. A lovely historical dish for the UK. It's honestly a blessing to Britain. Whilst I might not have it too often now, it's a very versatile dish. It's easy to make vegetarian and vegan versions of it, and usually 9 out of 10 times it tastes fantastic. Okay, then we have a roast dinner. Yep, this is straight into the blessing to Britain category. It is a meat, potato, usually Yorkshire pudding and some vegetables. Is it the most flavorful meal on the planet? No. Is it a Michelin star meal? No. But does it warm the soul? Yes, it does. So it's a blessing to Britain. Now for the penultimate item, it's a toad in the hole, which is just the large quantities of sausage cooked in batter, and this is bloody lovely. I love it. It's basically a macro scale sausage roll. What's not to love? And finally, the greatest thing in the universe. The ascended god tier item, the one, the only, the greatest thing that has ever existed on the planet, tea. Yes! Oh, it's so good. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been my very important, very critical, objectively perfect and spot-on tier list of British foods and snacks. You can find me in the comment section, but your opinion is wrong, because I am the spiffing Brit and what I say is law. Tomorrow, bounties and cheese balls will be banned on the streets of Britain, and everyone will be drinking tea as they chow down on some hobnobs. Lovely. Right, well there we go. This has actually been the ultimate extended version of the video that basically no one else gets to see. You have seen it. Congratulations, you're very special. And who knows, maybe there was actually extra stuff after this that I cut. Maybe there was a video within a video within a video. I'm not saying whether that was the case or not. You'll just have to come up with your own theories. But this is all for you today. So thank you very much for watching. A huge thank you to, of course, liking the video, subscribing, and of course, a major shout out to the Majestic Sausages, who are our Patreons and channel members who fund all of this nonsense on my channel. Thank you very much for your continued support. Anyway, if you're sat there wondering what video to watch next, look no further than this video on screen now. I've chosen it and it should be perfect for you. As always, I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have a lovely day and goodbye for now.
Oh, I was supposed to put... I missed a step. Whatever. Will that work? I just, whatever. B1 and 4. What next? What next?
Imagine spending $90 on a figure and it comes with flaws. What is the best and perfect G1 style Optimus Prime figure to exist? Dr. Lockdown, That Toy Guy, and Key Fan Page 101 will also be talking about some figures they like. This is a question I'm pretty sure every Transformers fan has asked, especially after looking at their collection of Optimus Prime figures and thinking one more couldn't hurt, as their wallets scream in terrifying agony until you realize the screams aren't coming from the wallet, they're coming from within because I forgot to take my medication this morning. Would I have more money if I didn't buy all these figures? Sure, but would I be happy? That's the question. We're going on a quest not just to review a figure, but to find the perfect G1 Optimus Prime figure. There are other great figures out there, but we're going to be sticking to mainly the G1 aesthetic, kind of showing the evolution with a few key releases. Starting from the original mold, going all the way into the mid-2000s era, more recent releases, and ending up with Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. Now I have a few qualifications I'm looking for. This is important. The figure needs to look good and be close to the original G1 design, or at least inspired by it. It needs to have good articulation. It can't be a brick with arms and legs. It needs to have a good vehicle mode, the Transformers, so that's important. It can't be expensive. We need something at a fair price. It can't really be over $100 because come on, how many of us can afford that? It's also got to scale well with other figures. The scaling doesn't have to be 100% accurate, just enough to make sense, and it cannot be a third party, only Hasbro and or Takara. And a trailer isn't necessary, but it is a plus. With these 5 or 6 qualifications, I don't know, I just kind of randomly pulled these out of my ass. We're gonna try to see what there is. This is the original G1 Optimus Prime, originally Battle Convoy, designed by Hiroyuki Obara with concept work from Shoji Kawamori. I hope I said those names right. Kawamori did the concept work for this transforming Hatsune Miku figure I have as well. These were both designed by the same person. If you want a video on this, let me know in the comments below. So it's a classic, but does it really hold up today? No. Now what I have here is the G2 figure, which is pretty much the exact same mold, but the main difference is the legs are purple. The articulation is fairly basic because this is an old toy, and we'll see better articulation in other figures later in the video. And looks wise, it doesn't really entirely match to the G1 show. It looks a bit different. The head is not animation accurate, and the proportions look a bit wonky, especially for modern times. But the original figure came out first and then the animated design, so it's not really the figure's fault. And if I can get my hands on an original G1 figure in good condition, or even the original die clone, that would be amazing. But both of them are pretty expensive. Oh my god. I got this one for around $80 or $90, but that was back around 2012, so it's not going to be that price anymore. Just kidding, I lied. I just checked on eBay. You can get this for a pretty reasonable price because I guess everyone wants a G1 Prime and not G2. I do like the use of die-cast parts on this. We have some in the chest as well as the feet, but that does mean paint chipping is going to be an issue. Both the original and G2 come with trailers. The G2 one is not accurate, like, at all.
What the hell is this?
The legs on this are a bit loose, and I think the original G1 has that issue as well. Articulation-wise, it is a brick with arms and legs because it is a product of its time. There was never any scaling in these original molds, and he's smaller than most modern day primes. You do have to take off the hands for the transformation, and that is remedied in the missing link and legacy figures. Flip in the head, bring in the arms back, bring this up here, legs up, and feet out. This can open up, and these slots were meant for the Diaclone figures, but we can put just the hands in there, and there is a vehicle mode for Optimus Prime. The classic box truck is just so iconic, and they do have some lovely rubber tires. The G2 one has a different Autobot insignia. I also really like some of the detail this figure has for something this old. And while these figures are are a classic, and I think every collector should try to get their hands on the original or a variation of it. I don't think this figure can count towards being one of the best Optimus Prime figures since 40 years have passed. A lot of great engineering has come since then, and it would be really unfair to discredit that just because of nostalgia reasons. As much as I want an original G1 figure with that resale value, this cannot be the best Optimus Prime figure. I could recommend a G2 if you can find it at a good price. And make sure to do your research if you decide to purchase something that old and expensive. Now what about something that's more high-end? Now there are some masterpiece figures that are really great, but the prices are, what the fuck, that is expensive. You have the MP44 and 44S, which is decoed like the original toy. However, these figures are going to be over our budget, and we don't really have money. Next you have the MP10, which is also kind of crazy
photography
in price.
again.
I personally own an oversized knockoff, and judging by this knockoff, the original is probably also a fantastic figure. But can we find something official that's at a cheaper price point? Which is where the MP01 comes in. Now this is more interesting than whatever the fuck this reel is my friend sent me in my messages. You could probably find this between $80 to $100 online if you're lucky. Yeah, it is a bit up there in price, but I find it to be more obtainable. I got this at a toy shop called Retro Madness in Bedford, Texas. It was 20% off, and my girlfriend bought it for me. This is the first masterpiece figure ever, and it takes that G1 design, but makes it realistic. Later in the vehicle mode, I noticed something kind of interesting about this mold, but overall, I really like the way this looks. The colors are really good. It has some nice reds and deep blues. Only one Autobot insignia on the shoulder, and it's molded on there, so it's not a sticker. There is a die-cast chest piece, which does open up and houses the Matrix. Also, this figure is noisy. I apologize how much you can hear on this. Also, in addition to being noisy, it is heavy. You got the die-cast for the chest, but also die-cast for like most of the entire legs. Also, the feet are loose on mine, so I'm constantly worried about him falling over like an old man. Which probably has something to do with age, and this is sticky. That's kind of gross. Okay. Diving in further into the figure, the head sculpt on here is pretty interesting. I personally really like the head sculpt on this, as well as the shiny blue eyes, which look like they peer straight into your soul. The chest area is looking pretty great. We do have a little bit of detail over there. I don't like how the grill piece recedes in, and we could pull it out if we wanted to, but I would have preferred this whole entire section to be out a bit more. The arms are designed pretty well, a little bit of detail, and we do have some functioning piston parts. When we give it an elbow bend, we have yellow paint for the shapes over here, which wasn't in the original show. We get individual finger articulation. Both of the arms come with communicator flaps, one with Starscream for some reason, and the other with Bumblebee, and there's some nice detail in there. The sculpt of the legs is really great, and you can greatly admire them if you can get the figure to stand. And if we push the feet in, these come out. That's a really cool piece of engineering. From the back, the figure doesn't really have much of a backpack. We also have a bit of detail on the legs, and some more of that piston movement going on back here. Now there are some downsides to this figure. First of all, I think the proportions on this do seem kind of wonky. Also, the short smokestacks, they just look stupid. And the battle damage weathered look on here is just why? For the first masterpiece figure ever, you shouldn't have this. The Takara version has a completely clean look and longer smokestacks, and I don't like this random weathered spot on the grill piece. And unfortunately with the die-cast, we do have a little bit of paint chipping going on. On the flip side, since this is an old figure, the chipping kind of blends in with the weathered look. The articulation is fine, but since this figure is kind of old, you're gonna have problems getting dynamic poses, especially since this is kind of loose.
Okay, the fucking leg popped out while I was trying to pose him.
This is also a huge figure, my god. This is how it is next to the oversized knockoff MP10. The other MP figures are much smaller, so scaling wise, this might look weird with other masterpieces. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I worked really hard on this one. There are so many primes in this video. This figure also comes with a fair amount of accessories, which you need to make sure they're there when you buy this figure. You have a really cool looking ion blaster. I don't understand why this bit of silver is there. I don't really like that. I do like the nice bits of blue though. This is a pretty standard looking sculpt. You have his orange translucent energon axe. This is flexible and bendy. And lastly, you get Megatron in his gun mode. The bump stock was missing when I bought this. I personally didn't really care too much about that. Overall, this is really cool to have though. And just for fun, since this is old, here's a close look at the instruction booklet and basically how that looks like. Whoever owned this figure initially was definitely a collector because of how great of a condition this figure is in. Also, this thing over here, like, is not opened at all. I don't think I want to actually open this, so we're gonna leave that sealed. The vehicle mode for this is good for early 2000s. It has rubber wheels, which are luckily still good on my copy of the figure, and they're actually branded. So this button at the top here is for a light up feature for the Matrix, and I don't like how it sticks out. We're gonna see better trailer beds with some other figures in this video. In the vehicle mode, I noticed the figure has molded in battle damage, and I really do not like that. I also don't like this black piece from the arm joints. It is a fairly decent vehicle mode, but we're gonna look at a lot more later in the video. MP01 is a great figure, but it is showing its age. Now before we move on to Dr. Lockdown talking about Classics Optimus Prime, let's speed run through a few other primes. Robot Masters is a smaller figure. I don't really like how this looks, and the vehicle mode is ugly.
You disgust me.
Also, prices will vary from 50 to 100-ish. Another is Hybrid Style Convoy, which looks cool, very G1, but it's also a smaller figure, and that vehicle mode kind of sucks. This is Deluxe Class Classics Optimus Prime, and I don't like it.
This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would, but I legally can't. But I've considered it.
This is also a smaller figure, but it'll scale well with other deluxe class figures in this line. I'm just not a big fan of this figure, especially with the head sculpt. I don't like the way that looks. Now the eyes do have some really good light piping, but in my opinion they are way too big. The rest of the sculpt of the figure is fairly decent. It's alright. The legs do look kind of cool. The figure also has this really neat gimmick. Ooh. That's fun. You should be able to lock this into place, I think. I'm not gonna bother transforming this. There is a picture of the vehicle mode I found online, and as you can see, the vehicle mode isn't the best looking either. Now let's move on to Locked or Dock Down. I mean, Doctor... Let's move on to Dr. Lockdown now.
Read the disclaimer! I'm the other one, you bastard!
Classics Optimus Prime, for me, is what I imagine Prime would be if G1 continued into the modern era, as if he'd lived, experimented, and finally landed on a presentation he really liked. It's as if he's built himself into the perfect version of himself, and it's sort of awe-inspiring. He was probably one of my first ever grails, though getting him was pretty anticlimactic. This one's actually one of the Age of Extinction versions, with a hefty layering of customizing laid on top, but I love him all the same. The head is possibly one of the best Optimus Prime head sculpts they've ever done, combining G1 meanness with an awesome angular crown. The splaying out is very subtle, but it does so much for the silhouette. It's unmistakably Classics Prime, it's just so... him. The torso is mean as fuck, especially when you pick out the windows. It angles in and out in the perfect ways that emphasize the anime proportions. In fact, the angling really is what makes this guy. Like, these shoulders are something else. It's sort of like the missing link between G1 and the Unicron trilogy, which I guess is fitting as he came out at the tail end of that engineering style in 2006. Not gonna lie, I kinda fuck with this arm kibble. Wearing the kibble loud and proud, making a statement, that's what it's all about. The articulation honestly tangos with the best of modern toys, with pretty much everything you could want outside of wrists and ankles, though I've gone and fixed the latter. The guns are also great, forming from parts of the alt mode. The transformation is just buttery smooth. It's one of the figures that really laid the groundwork for how modern Optimus Primes could work. It's the perfect intersection of realistic alt mode and early 2000s chunkitude in this mode. Not only does it look fantastic with very good panel management and awesome aerodynamicism, but it feels weighty. The rhomboid windows, curved panels on the side, the smokestack assembly. It's all things that make it stand out in a way figures these days don't tend to. And sure, this does rely on parts forming pieces, but the way they integrate is so clever, and I wished we'd see more stuff like it. Classics Prime is, well, a classic. There's a reason a select group of fans keep coming back to it, and see him as peak Transformers. For G1 Optimus Primes, there's nothing quite like classics. Nothing quite on this level of self-realization and aesthetic maturity.
Dang, now
I
I
agree
feel
with this
kind of
interpretation.
bad missing out on Classics Prime. Now this is Siege Optimus Prime, and this one is also a pretty great figure. Minus the ugly ass weathering, goddamn, this is horrible. There's way too much of it on this figure. One thing that is great though is the head sculpt. This is one of the best Optimus head sculpts out there. I do like the patterns on the windshield. He has no matrix, so like most millennials, he is empty inside. We get the Alba insignia on one shoulder here. Once again, that ugly weathering. I don't think the arms look too great over here. However, this is accurate to the original mold. I like how the wheels tuck in over there. Some pretty good sculpt work for the legs. I appreciate the effort to kind of hide the wheels on this. However, the Studio Series figure later on in this video does it a lot better. Good detail on the legs. The backpack on the back though is yikes. The red and blue colors on this figure though are really good. The accessories for him are another ion blaster as always, but he also comes with an axe that can be folded up, and I really do like the axe on this figure. We get some nice silver paint over here with the Autobot insignia. Generally overall a pretty solid 8 out of 10 vehicle mode. I mean robot mode, this is a robot. But once again, the weathering really brings it down for me. The articulation for this figure is pretty standard to modern day Transformers, so you will be able to get a variety of decent poses with it. Now let's move on to its vehicle mode. There is a vehicle mode for Siege Optimus Prime. It does look pretty good. It rolls fairly well. I do like how boxy it looks. It's very aesthetic, at least from the top. We've got some nice detail on the sides over here, but unfortunately the front is really not my favorite in terms of how this looks. Like there's a lot of it that's just sticking out and it's not flat. I think the truck modes for the figures later on in this video look a lot better. I like the sci-fi style wheels. I do like how the back of this looks, and we can't attach a trailer to this. It is once again a G1 design, but a little bit more updated. I think you can still get this at a fairly decent price point, and this is going to scale fairly well with all your your other Transformers figures, at least the more modern day ones. Now this figure was extensively retooled into the Earthrise figure, which T-Fanpage 101 will now talk about.
Every once in a while, there's a new definitive G1 take for Optimus Prime. Classic, Siege, I guess United, and Studio Series 86, but in the mix, Earthrise Optimus, aka Kingdom Optimus, is perhaps the most G1-based G1 that G1 Prime has ever G1. Portions of the toy and cartoon, possibly even a real truck, mixed together to form the classic cab with legs on wheels. It keeps the silver stripes, flat face, and with the Matrix, it packs a punch. Too bad the trailer's bleh. It's a box that opens. The ramp has a peg to break every bumper that tries to crawl inside, and a drone arm that feels mandatory. It's like putting a little effort into the homework. Robot mode is pretty stellar, with a proper scale and full range of joints including a backward shoulder. Sure, it's got the long legs and butt protection gear, but this could pop off. Look at it. He's the iconic bot with the iconic dad bod, in the colors only described as American. Give him the cannon and add blast effects for fireworks. Open the chest and say hi to God. You could add the shield and drone to the back, and now we're just making excuses for this thing. I will admit, even before Studio Series 86, this wasn't my preferred one. He just seemed too plain, and I felt an obligation to get it, but he's hardly a bad choice. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Missing Link Optimus Prime is just the G1 figure, but with better articulation. It looks exactly like the G1 figure, so it still has some of the flaws like the wonky proportions, but it could be a decent figure to buy. Also, this is over a $100 budget, so we'll save this for another video when I actually own the figure. How about something less wallet breaking? There is Legacy United G1 Universe Optimus Prime. Let's open it up. Whoa, we get 2 ion blasters? And here's G1 Universe Legacy United Optimus Prime. This is the first time I'm looking at this figure, but I'm a professional toy reviewer. I'm pretty sure I can wing it and not make a fool of myself. So, judging by first impressions, this is really nice. It's a deluxe class figure, and it's definitely a lot smaller than the original mold. So I think scaling wise with other figures, we're gonna have a bit of a problem. But I still think this figure is worth looking at. Legacy United Optimus is basically a budgeted version of the Missing Link figure. There's gonna be a difference in coloring, which does make this look like a cheaper figure, but this figure costs around $25, and I think that's a fair price point for what this is. It's cool to see this side by side with the Studio Series figure. Zooming straight into the head sculpt, it is pretty accurate to the original Battle Convoy head sculpt. Now, I'm not sure why we have this bit of yellow over here. It feels like they were thinking about adding light piping, but decided not to. I don't know. The yellow eyes are accurate to the original toy. We get one Autobot insignia on the shoulder over here, some nice proportionally sized smokestacks, the chest area with a little bit of detail. We get some translucent windows, some nice silver paint over here for the front and the grill piece, as well as that. We have these bits sticking out for the arms, which is accurate to the original design. On this figure, the hands actually fold in for the transformation. We get some movable skirt pieces for the wheels, which is really cool. We get some nicely sculpted legs, the fuel tanks on the sides, wheels over here, coming over to the back, looking pretty good. This figure has modern day articulation, so you can get a lot of good poses with it. And look at that ankle pivot. Damn. We get a translucent orange Energon axe, 2 ion blasters, both of them with a different sculpt, and a matrix of leadership, but it's just one translucent blue color. And the chest piece can house the matrix. It has some really cool designs going on in there. Now I really do wish this figure was a little bit bigger, maybe in that Voyager scale. It'd be pretty much the same size as the original figure, but hey, once again, this is only $25. Now let's go on to the transformation, which I will show on camera. So first we're going to open this up. We're going to bring the head back in there and close that up. Now we're going to come to the arms, and this part is a little bit scary. We're going to move this back, and I was initially worried about this breaking because it was a little bit stubborn, but you just bring this out to the back, and then we're going to rotate the hands around and bring that back in. Now coming over here, once again, we're going to bring that out, rotate, bring that in. Now in classic Optimus style fashion, we're going to bring the arms back, we're going to bring this up and connect that in there. Then we're going to come to the feet, bring both of these down, come over to the back, and this is going to come up in there. Same with this one, that's going to come up all the way there, and let's connect the legs together. And here is the vehicle mode for G1 Legacy Optimus Prime. This is a super solid vehicle mode. Unfortunately, it seems like these pieces don't want to go in all the way on my copy of the figure, but it's still a pretty cool classic flat nose truck. And what's really cool about this is that we do have rubber wheels. That is awesome to see again on Transformers figures, and it rolls around pretty decently. I really like how the hands fold in so we don't have to do any parts forming. What's really cool is that we can attach vintage trailers onto this as well as new recent trailers. We can also put the accessories on the back, and 2 ion blasters. That's so cool. That would be pretty cool if they re-release this with a trailer. The smokestacks on here are longer, unlike something like Siege, which they're cut off right over here, which I don't particularly like. One thing, when transforming him back, the head is kind of hard to get back out, and I don't really want to scrape anything off. They're gonna need a tool to bring this out, so that is one pretty big downside, I would say. This is a really nice figure to have. I think it's really cool we have a more posable G1 style Optimus figure that is at a cheaper price point. Maybe not the best Optimus Prime figure, but it is up there. Now, if you want a really badass looking Optimus Prime, let's go to that toy guy with Reactivate Optimus.
Reactivate Prime is probably not the design that pops into most people's heads when they're asked about a G1 Optimus design, but man, this one is neat. He has a lot of the cues of a G1 Prime: red and blue, grill, stomach, chest, windows, shoulders with the smokestacks, lower legs. It's all there. Coupled with the cleanliness of the robot, I just wish this gray wasn't that shade. He has a good assortment of stuff with his axe, gun, and a matrix in that opening matrix chamber. Love that. And this figure has the articulation to match with the head, shoulders, biceps, elbows, wrist, waist, hips, thighs, knees, and ankles. Everything is super modern. He also scales pretty well with other figures, going into that new generations aesthetic enough to fit with those, but also kind of matching Classics Prime's more buff feel. Transformation is pretty involved and fun. Mostly fitting the arms in can be a bit of a pain, but the way the legs fold away, I'm surprised more Optimus Primes don't use this function. It's such a simple and great way of making sure the feet don't stick out the back and having it super clean. Truck mode is nice and hefty, bulky ass design. Weapon storage is typical Transformers, but overall it is a very fun toy that is still available and on sale today, so it's not too expensive, and you get a half decent sound wave with it, so hey. But it's just a very, very fun Optimus Prime that takes those G1 cues and looks amazing. It poses great and feels great. I love it.
So after taking a look at all these great Optimus Primes, we still have one more to go, and what I think is the most accurate G1 Optimus Prime figure. So now here we have the newly released Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime from the Transformers G1 show and movie. He definitely does have his fair share of flaws, which I will get into. This Optimus Prime goes for that G1 cartoon accuracy, and I think it does it flawlessly. Minus the flaws I mentioned earlier. This, in my opinion, is one of the best Prime figures out there. The colors on this are absolutely great. He has a little bit of a backpack and a big ass dumpy, which hey, that's a plus. He does have a fair amount of detail on him, which is really cool. And what's really amazing about this figure is that the wheels for the vehicle mode are hidden away in the robot mode, which does mean this figure has a bit of a complex transformation, and we'll talk about that later in the video. Size-wise, here he is with some other figures. I think he might be one of the biggest Primes in a while, so he's gonna scale pretty well with recent figure releases. So we have a great looking head sculpt on here. It's very shiny actually, and I think this is animation accurate enough. I've seen some people have some complaints about this online, and there's an upgrade kit you can get to make it more MP44 like. This is just one interpretation of the show's wonky ass animation. Personally, I think the head sculpt is good as it is. Siege and Volvo Prime also have some really great head sculpts, so maybe you could swap them out. I don't know, I haven't tried it. I just don't know how it would affect the transformation, because the bunny ears do need to move out of the way for the transformation. Now the smokestacks on this figure are a little bit loose. When you find yourself handling the figure, these do kind of just flop around. We have an animation accurate Autobot insignia on the arm. Other figures usually had this colored in, but in the show it's a white outline, so that is a really nice touch that they added. The rest of the arms have that G1 blockiness, and we do have a little bit of truck detail in here, which is really cool. The chest also looks really great. Unfortunately, mine has a cosmetic defect on there, which it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. It totally bothers me. It really bothers me. It's like straight in the chest of the figure, and this is the second time I've had an Optimus Prime figure that I've paid $80 or $90 for that has a cosmetic defect right in the chest of the figure. Hasbro, what the hell are you doing? There are people online who have had figure breaking defects when they bought this figure. The chest also for some reason has these slits over here, which I do not like, but the rest of this area is done pretty well. All the colors and the little bit of detail are done great, and if we open this up, we do get a matrix chamber inside. We've seen plenty of matrices for Optimus figures, so I'm not going to go over it too much, but I'm glad this does come with one, and we do get a nicely detailed matrix chamber in there. Let's close that back up. Coming down, so this grill piece is a faux grill piece. Another grill piece comes out for the vehicle mode, which is in the back over here, and coming down, the rest is animation accurate. I do love the nice yellows over here, and these are movable skirt pieces, and these can be moved individually. They're just very tight on my copy of the figure. So we get some really animation accurate white over here, and a really great mold for the rest of the legs. And what I really like about this is all the detail here. We have some here, but mainly in this section. I am glad they added some detail here to really help the figure stick out. Now, one thing you might notice about this figure, that there might be a little bit less paint than you're used to on Optimus Prime figures. For example, there is no silver paint over here and no yellow paint for the shapes. This is because this figure is meant to be as animation accurate as possible, and those colors were not there in the original animation. So honestly, that is a plus point. Now, how many times do you think they will re-release this figure in different colors? I can imagine us getting a dead Optimus Prime version, maybe a Nemesis Prime repaint, and probably some other repaints that are more colored and less animation accurate. Purely speculation on my part. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, this figure does have a major flaw, which we will get to in a sec, but let's take a look at the back over here. He does have a little bit of a backpack. A decent amount of the vehicle mode is stored in here, and honestly, that's fine. He has a bit of a big dumpy. This area over here sticks out quite a bit, and we do have a stand port, which is great. Coming further down here is the rest of the legs, some nice panel looking detail here. Many copies of this figure have the taillights upside down, and it seems like unfortunately my copy of the figure is also like that. You can fix these and just swap the pieces out. I'm not really going to bother with that for the main reason that I am lazy. So when you do get this figure, just bear that in mind that these pieces might be upside down. So for the articulation, the head can't really move up and down, so that's kind of unfortunate, but we do get a full 360 rotation. These bunny ears can move as part of the transformation, so can these smokestacks. The arms can move out all the way over there. We do get a full 360 rotation as well. We get some bicep rotation. We get an elbow bend in, which goes 90 degrees. We also get an elbow bend back. We get some hand rotation. We do have some finger articulation over here with the hinge joints. We get a full 360 waist rotation on the figure. We can move these skirt pieces up, so we can bring this forward. We can give it a knee bend, which goes about there. We can get a rotation. This goes out to the side over there, and we get some skirt pieces at the back, and we can bring this all the way back there. Foot can move up and down from there, and we do get a ankle pivot, which goes all the way over there. So with this articulation, we can get a decent amount of poses for the figure. Also, some of the joints are kind of tight, which does make the transformation a little bit tricky. Now onto accessories. So we get the classic Ion Blaster. This is a really great sculpt. As far as I can tell, this is a fairly new mold. We haven't seen this before on an Optimus Prime figure. This is more animation accurate and kind of close to the Masterpiece Ion Blasters. Now, the only problem on mine is that I have this little cosmetic defect over here as well, and it seems like something I could scrape off, but that is kind of weird and gross to have. I paid $90 for this. But anyways, moving on. We do get the classic Energon axe. However, I do think this is a little bit short, and to attach this onto the figure, you just open this up, bring in the hand over there, and attach that on. I do wish this one was a little bit longer. And lastly, we get some effect pieces for the Ion Blaster, so it can go pew pew. We get 2 of these, and mine are a little bit bent, unfortunately. And we get some blast effect pieces for the vehicle mode to recreate that one scene from the movie. You can put them on in the robot mode too. It's wrong, but you can do it. And I haven't even talked about the trailer yet. This is the awesome trailer that comes with the figure. It is once again completely animation accurate with the nice Autobot insignia and that stripe over there. We get a fair bit of detail on the back. Underneath also has an insane amount of detail. We do also have stands underneath the figure, and if we open it up inside, we get... Opening this up, I have put Roller in there. This is pretty neat looking. I like the silver paint on here, and he does roll pretty well. Not much else to say about it. I was surprised by how detailed the interior of the trailer is. And we do get, whatever this thing is. I don't remember what it's called. The trailer does have that repair-based mode that you can do. It's a lot bigger than the Volvo Earthrise trailers, as well as the vintage ones. And the Earthrise trailer is compatible, but it looks tiny. So now let's move on to the figure's transformation. And once again, it is a little bit complex. It's about 40 steps or so. It's not really difficult, it's just a lot of steps. First things first, open up these arms, and we'll take the hands and rotate them all the way in there and close that up. Same with this one, bring that out and bring that in there and close that up. Now we want to rotate these arm pieces around and bend it like that. Rotate this around and bend it like that. Rotate these smokestacks out of the way. Bring out both of the arms. Bring out both of these side panels from underneath. These pieces are a little hard to grab, and instead of giving up like I normally do, I found a solution. Rotate this. And now you can grab these silly pieces. Rotate that back, and while we're at it, let's bring out his big dumpy. Bring down his backpack, take this out, and open up both of these pieces. And we do need to rotate just this section all the way around to the front. So the easiest way I find to do it is to just maybe like rotate this top part of the body, and then we'll just rotate the legs down over here while trying to keep this in place. So we have it like that. So now we're going to rotate the head of the figure into the back, and while we're doing that, we want to make sure that his earpieces are out of the way as much as we can be. And this part does require some force to do. I'll try to make sure my ears are out all the way, so that way when I apply some force here, it doesn't break. There we go. Let's push back in those bunny ears, flip this grill piece over, shift both of these pieces to the back, make sure it's lined up like this. At this point, you're going to realize you have way many more steps to go. Angle this piece kind of like so that way we can bring this down and bring that one down as well. Flip this piece out because I forgot to do that. Bring this down, connect this piece into there, bring this one there as well. And we're now going to bring these in, and these do snap into place on the figure. Take this out, so we can take this piece out, bring that back up, unfold this, bring this up all the way. Same over here. Let's unfold this, bring this up all the way, connect these pieces together, and close that up on both sides of the figure, ensuring everything is snapped into place, and we have his girl walk mode. So for now, we're going to come to the legs over here, and we're going to unfold this and bring it back. Same with this one. We're going to unfold this and bring it back. There's these little tiny pieces over here that we need to bring out. That one right there. There's one right over here as well. Kind of hard to do. Please, please. There we go. Wow. Close both of the feet. Now's a good time to bring this all back over here. So this piece does come down, and it does need to tab inside the wheels over here. So this part is a little awkward to do. There we go, just like that. Grab this piece from all the way here and bring that out. Rotate that around. Same with this one. Bring that out. Rotate that around. And now let's connect the legs together. Take out these pieces for the back, and these do connect there into that slot. Same with this one. For me, my figure kind of bends a little bit, so let's try to straighten that out and have this connection go right into there. Let's get that in there, and let's try to connect that. And lastly, we can now take out the wheels for the figure on both sides. And there's a vehicle mode for Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. It is a fantastic looking vehicle mode. Is it a little complex and lengthy? Yes. Did I miss any steps along the way? I sure hope not, because I would look like an idiot and seem like a fake Transformers fan. So this is absolutely fantastic. So we do have a fair amount of detail going on all the way over here, which is great. Some more detail over here, the classic fuel tanks. What's really great is that the bed on this figure is basically completely flat. So that is really cool. They did such a great job over here, because sometimes in the past there's been a few messy trailer beds. Coming to the back of the figure, unfortunately once again these need to be swapped out and fixed on my copy of the figure. Here is a quick look at the other side. Underneath, once again looking very clean. This figure can roll pretty decently. Coming to the front of the box truck, fantastic, absolutely love it. All the details in the silver paint and everything really just stand out. Once again, I'm not a big fan of these little slits over here, but other than that, this is a fantastic looking truck mode, probably one of the better ones. So is Studio Series the best G1 Optimus Prime? I mean, sure, I guess, I don't know. All these other ones are really great too, except for that one. Huge thank you to the other YouTubers in this video, and make sure to check out their channels as well. Now, if you enjoyed this video over here, make sure to check out this other video that I think you might...
Oh, still up. Whatever.
Studio Series the best G1 Optimus Prime? I mean, sure, I guess, I don't know. All these other ones are really great too, except for that one. Huge thank you to the other YouTubers in this video, and make sure to check out their channels as well. Now, if you enjoyed this video over here, make sure to check out this other video that I think you might enjoy.
Deluxe. I missed a piece, damn it. A17.
If you're coming to Japan for the first time and you only have 1 week and you're only in Tokyo, this is a generic Tokyo trip that basically everybody does. Let's get in there. Day 1. Shibuya, Shinjuku, Harajuku. These three are basically all in one. They're all right beside each other, and you can do them all basically in one day. So first one is Shibuya. So Shibuya, you can do the crossing, the World Ends With You 109, the Mega Donkey to buy all your stuff tax-free, take a picture with the dog, Hachiko. Depending on when you go, you could also go there at night, you know, drink with the boys at the Family Mart. Oh, you're actually not supposed to do that. Well, you can go out for bars or something like that. Very fun party city. The next spot would be Harajuku. Horrible. Everyone wants to go here for some reason, and that is evident because if you look at Takeshita Street, it's full of people, a lot of people, and it's just not a fun time. Like I would honestly, guys, like you can skip that shit. Like you don't need to go to that. You can go there just to see it and say that you went to Harajuku. There's cool fashion there, but honestly, you can like find that fashion like basically anywhere. They got like candy apples and they got crepes, I guess. So the crepes are pretty good, but it's not like, oh my god, I gotta try the Harajuku crepe. Like it's good if you like crepes, but if you're, I guess if you're French, it doesn't really matter because you know you guys got that. It depends. I mean, if you're into that, you're into that. But I would be like, spend like 10 minutes there, man. You could also go to Shinjuku. So Shinjuku, you know, it's a place with all the lights, with the Kabukicho, the Godzilla head, Amoide Yokocho, which is just like a little alleyway of tourist trap. But I guess, yeah, if you're a tourist, man, you got that money, so you can go in there. It's a little expensive. There's a lot of English support. You can't film there or anything like that. And those kind of local bars with like 2 or 4 people in them, I like to call those kind of local locked. If you're gonna go to like somewhere else that's not there, either they don't support English or sometimes they don't let foreigners in there for some reason. They have their reasons, but Omoide Yokocho will let you in for the most part. Just make sure you bring cash. I think it's a lot of that is cash. Just be careful at night because there's a lot of scams. You don't want to get scammed by the Nigerian mafia and all that stuff. So day 2. This is a fun one. I actually like this. It's called Hakone. So Hakone is actually like a 2-hour train ride to Kanagawa. So it's the neighboring state prefecture because you want to get that traditional Japan. And you want to go to a ryokan, which is a traditional Japanese hotel with tatami mats, the futons, the breakfast, the natural hot spring. That's like quintessential Japan. Like you had that one friend named Jeff is like, oh, I want to like sit in the yukatan, pour the tea and like be like a G, like a shogun or something. Hakone, 100%. And Hakone has beautiful, beautiful sceneries. There's nature span. You could also take the ropeway and then go and see Mount Fuji. I recommend going in the winter for that so you can actually see it. And yeah, it's a fun experience. And you go down the ropeway and you go to Ashi Lake. So yeah, 100% recommend Hakone on one of these days. Day 3, Akihabara and Ueno. God. So Akihabara is the anime town. It's the one you've seen in the Steins Gate anime. It's the one you see in Love Live. It's the anime town. You know, they got arcades, they got anime stuff, manga goods, computer parts, all the stuff for the nerds. You gotta go here once. Like if you like anime at all, like why are you not going here? But nearby it is Ueno. So Ueno is very nice too. So this is also another like traditional kind of area. They got a few temples there. They got a shrine. They got Ueno Park. Sometimes they'll have festivals there. You know, they have the summer festival there. I think I have footage of that somewhere here. And my favorite part about Ueno actually is that unlike places like Shibuya and Shinjuku and Harajuku where it's like super tourist trap cheese, like Ueno is like, it's like the tourist trap of not tourist traps. The nightlife there is very different. It's not westernized. It's very like everyone's eating outside. It's like yakitori and which is like skewers. You got hoppy. It's different vibes. It's very Asian vibes, and you feel like you're in the real, kind of like the real Japanese nightlife. Obviously, it's a little bit. They really in Japanese just say giri giri because it's like you know, it's not the true Japanese neighborhood, but it's a good introduction to that life where they'll accept you with English support and stuff like that. But the only problem with Ueno is that like most of the shops have cover charges, so you'll pay like 1,000 yen just to get in. So that's the only thing I would say about Ueno. They also have a zoo there, Ueno Zoo. Yeah, it's actually like really sad, but if you don't care about that and you just want to see some animals and like pandas, then yeah, Ueno Zoo's there. It's really cheap to get in. They also have a National Museum of History, which is really cool. Day 4. So back to tradition with Asakusa. Asakusa is basically the oldest temple in Japan. You can do all the traditional things, see the big lightning gate, Kaminari gate, and yeah, it's kind of like that little traditional part of Japan. If you're coming during New Year's, that's like where the big New Year's festival happens, so you can go there. And then at nighttime, you could either stay in Asakusa, something called Hoppy Street, and they have a lot of kind of the same similar vibes to Ueno again, where it's like this, everybody's drinking outside, it's very cheap, blah, blah, blah. Or you can go to Tokyo Skytree, which is like kind of like right down the street. Not really, but it's right down the street. And it's the tallest tower in the world. I know I was gonna say, oh, Burj Khalifa. I'm like, it's the tallest freestanding radio tower in the world, 634 meters. It's really, it's a tower. I'll tell you, like, it's really nice. You go up to the top.
Okay,
Sometimes they'll have like a festival thing like Jujutsu Kaisen or like Pokemon or Disney, something going on up there. You can see it very nice. You can see the whole city. It's like 2,000 yen to go see the whole entire city. Like, you can literally see the whole city from there. During the day, it's kind of like, the glass is kind of like coated, so it's kind of gray-ish. Meh, whatever. And you'll kind of notice that Tokyo's very, very gray. But I'd recommend going at night. It's a lot better. I've never gone at night, but I've seen pictures. Okay, day 5 is Ikebukuro. This is a really good spot because it's underrated and there's not a lot of tourists here. My sister loves this place because it's very wide. There's a lot of shops and there's a big mall called Sunshine City, and it's the best place for shopping. Yes, they have a Uniqlo. So if you want to get all your shopping and all your souvenirs done, Ikebukuro is a great place. It has a lot of shops. Like Day-6, Yokohama, and Kamakura. They kind of go hand in hand. It's in the other prefecture, Kanagawa. So Kamakura is like one of the oldest places in Japan. It's where the samurai actually came from. So I'd recommend going there in the morning because you'll notice a pattern with these traditional places is that they actually close like really early, like at 4 or 5. So you want to go there and take advantage of the daylight hours. They have the big Buddha. They got the Komachi Dori with all the nice traditional shops. It's kind of similar to Asakusa. Very nice scenic areas. Yeah, got a lot of good food. Like got a lot of like nice cute food. And then on your way back, you'll head over to Yokohama. And when I say Yokohama, I'm talking about Minato Mirai because Yokohama is actually very huge. The only interesting place in Yokohama is either Yokohama Station or Minato Mirai. Minato Mirai is really cool. It's nice and scenic. It kind of looks like Seattle. They got the Akarenga, which is like the big red bricks, and they usually have like a festival there. They have like Oktoberfest sometime, Christmas markets. Yokohama is basically like Japanese people really want that Western taste, then they go to Yokohama. It's like it's kind of like them going to New York or something like that. It's kind of that vibe. So if you're looking for like super Japan, then like maybe not here. But if you're like, yo, I just want like a pizza, Yokohama is the place. Minato Mirai. There are 2 things that are cool in Yokohama. They have the cup ramen museum, which if you like cup ramen, you can like see the whole history and actually make your own cup ramen. EAK ramen comes from Yokohama. So when you're getting ramen, remember the word EAK. So the last place I would say, if you are down, would be to go to Tokyo, Disneyland, or Disney Sea, because they're in Tokyo and they're pretty cool. They're a lot cheaper than going to Disney in the States. Yeah, dude, I think a ticket for you guys right now, because the yen sucks, is like $50, bro. Tokyo Disneyland, it's copy pasta of Tokyo Disney World and Disneyland, California. They have a few exclusive rides, like a Baymax ride. Space Mountain's kind of crunched now, but they're turning it to the Shanghai one in 2027. The Beauty and the Beast World, which is really cool. And then you have Tokyo Disney Sea, which is like its own thing. And it has like a volcano, different aesthetic, different everything. And it's just a complete unique experience. And if you have to just experience one of these, I would say go to Tokyo Disney Sea, because Sea is unique. It's the only one in the world. And if you've been to Disney before and you're going to Disneyland, it's just going to be the same experience, except in a language you probably can't understand. So for the last day, if you don't want to go to Disney, I'd honestly just recommend, dude, like just do nothing for one day. Having a day off to just kind of take it slow for one of these days, because traveling to Tokyo in a week is very, very, very tough. Yeah, you got to just take your time with this and pace it out. Feel free to like take some things out of this itinerary. If you just don't know where to start, this is where you can start and then start building your own itinerary if you want. If you want to know the generic trip, if you're going all over Japan in a week, click this video right here. Hui!
Okay, I'm gonna take a quick intermission here, and then I'll be right back. Give me a few minutes. Alright, I'm back to finish off this this other arm, and then the head and the backpack, the cannons with the gun cannon, and that'll about do us for it. Do us for it, whatever.
$500 hours of new videos are uploaded to YouTube every minute. But although tons of videos go up, not all of them get to stay online. Some videos cause so much trouble they have to be taken down. These are the most notorious videos deleted from YouTube, ranked from the least to the most shocking reasons. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome. The best friend video. This video was described as the worst prank ever uploaded to the internet. It was so bad that over 100,000 people signed a petition asking YouTube to take it down. Although the video was eventually deleted, the chaos it caused will never be forgotten. The man at the center of the controversy was Sam Pepper, and he did not have a great reputation.
He had this quirky, abrasive personality. He rolled this personality into a YouTube career after he got evicted from Big Brother.
Sam started posting on YouTube in September 2010. His channel focused mainly on pranks. At first, his videos were funny and helped him gain a lot of fans. But when more creators began doing prank videos on YouTube, Sam tried to stand out by making his pranks wilder.
The idea was as offensive or as weird as possible, regain him views with his boyish, teenage-ish audience.
Sam Pepper's extreme pranks did get him millions of views, but they also caused a lot of controversy. His video caused so much chaos in 2014 that the hashtag #ReportSamPepper started trending on Twitter. But no matter how much they complained, Sam kept pushing the limits. That brings us to the video we're discussing today, the killing best friend prank. The title alone gives you an idea of how far Sam went with this one. Sam Pepper wanted to see how someone would react if they saw their best friend's life end right in front of them. So he decided to find out by pranking someone. The video started with Sam revealing the best friends involved in his plan.
Hello guys, today I'm filming a crazy prank. I met these two Viners a couple of weeks ago and I've arranged to meet them to talk about filming a video with them.
The target of the prank was Sam Goldbach, but let's just call him Goldbach. To make the whole thing more believable, Sam Pepper secretly convinced Goldbach's best friend Colby to help with the plan.
Kobe is in on the prank and Sam is getting pranked.
Here's how it went down. The video showed Colby and Goldbach driving down a quiet, dark road when suddenly their car sputtered and came to a stop. The two guys got out of the car and popped the hood, trying to figure out why the car stopped. It was just the two of them standing in the middle of a dark, empty road.
God, he thinks I'm an idiot. Oh wait, I found it. We're good. Where's the oil thing? I don't even know where that is.
I'm just over here taking a picture of my
Then,
life
out
box.
of
I'll be back in a
nowhere,
moment.
masked men rushed at them. Before Goldbach could react, they threw a bag over his head and forced him into a car. The video then jumped 20 minutes forward to show Goldbach tied to a chair in the middle of an abandoned rooftop. The mask was pulled off Goldbach's head so he could see what was going on. That's when he saw his best friend Colby kneeling next to him. One of the masked men pulled out a weapon, pointed it at Colby, and blam. Goldbach thought his best friend was gone forever. But after a few minutes, Goldbach realized Colby's body was moving. He was alive. Colby got back up totally unharmed with a big smile on his face. And everyone burst into laughter, revealing it was all fake. Goldbach's reaction was a mixture of relief and confusion. The video ends with Sam Pepper joined by Goldbach and Colby as they talk to the camera.
Okay guys, it's a couple of days later and we decided to film this outro now whilst we're all back in a safe zone.
We're good though. That was crazy. Props to you guys. That was actually...
Golbach looked like he was fine with what happened, but when people watched the video, they had a very different reaction. The video went up in November 2015, and the viewers absolutely hated it.
There was absolutely no humor in it. Not at all.
One person wrote, "This is the darkest thing I've seen in a while. Cried real tears. This is not okay." As more people watched the video, the backlash just kept growing.
How do you do a prank like this? Like, it's first of all, it's not a prank.
People were so upset that over 100,000 people signed a petition asking YouTube to delete the video. But it didn't stop there. The petition asked YouTube to deactivate Sam Pepper's entire YouTube channel. Despite the backlash, YouTube stated that the video did not break any of its community guidelines and therefore will not be removed. Even the hacktivist group Anonymous got involved in the drama. The hackers demanded that Sam Pepper take down the video within 24 hours, otherwise they would unleash hell on him. As the backlash poured in, Sam Pepper defended his video, saying it's just shocking how everyone's taken it, like he still didn't understand what was so wrong with what he did. Sam Pepper even started a GoFundMe campaign stating that he would delete his YouTube channel if $1.5 million was pledged to him. But eventually, Sam gave in to the pressure and deleted the video from YouTube, and everyone finally calmed down. But there's something important to consider about this best friend video. It might have been staged. In other words, the people who got pranked could have been part of the act all along. We know this because 3 months after this video, Sam admitted that all his controversial pranks were fake and filmed with the consent of everyone involved. Golbach and Colby later confirmed this during an interview.
Most people don't believe me that that was acting. They're still like, oh, he got traumatized, that was real. But I had tried to work on making myself cry for like 3 weeks before that.
Pepper, Colby, and Golbach went on to build pretty successful social media careers despite the backlash. One huge problem with these creators is trust. They go as far as faking their content. They turn simple, genuine ideas into massive productions. It's how to say hello in 30 languages. If you visit Filthy Frank's YouTube channel, you'll find videos with strange titles like Angry Black Man in Closet, Man Eats Raw Squid and Pukes, and Loser Reads Hater Comments. But no matter how much you scroll, one video you won't find is the video called How to Say Hello in 30 Languages. Even though the video had a pretty innocent title, it caused so much controversy that YouTube stepped in and deleted it. Big question is why?
All right, gather round, children. It's that time of the year again.
Filthy Frank was a YouTuber and internet comedian, but his comedy was different from most. He made people laugh by doing over-the-top things. He even called himself an absolute madman and the literal embodiment of everything a person should not be.
Do you want pearly white teeth the natural way? Now you can do it for cheap. Spray paint your teeth white.
In the early 2010s, Filthy Frank's weird skits and crude jokes were a big hit on YouTube. And he totally deserved the success because he was one of the most creative YouTubers of his time. Although his jokes pushed the boundaries, fans loved his edgy humor.
Because everybody's trying to promote their mixtape nowadays when they talk about how they're gonna make it, miraculously becoming a rapper. And these people believe that it's gonna happen.
Then one day, Filthy Frank finally went too far. With one video, people thought his comedy went from edgy to unacceptable. On August 25th, 2012, Filthy Frank uploaded a video titled How to Say Hello in 30 Languages. From the title, most people expected him to just say hello in different languages from around the world. But that's not what he did. Instead of just a hello, he acted out over-the-top stereotypes about people from each country. For example, when he said hello in Indian, he made a goofy face and yelled really loud. For Swedish, he made a weird noise again and again. Every country got its own bizarre act. For some countries' greetings, he just flushed a toilet. The video was supposed to be lighthearted fun, but some viewers didn't see it that way. They felt like it spread negative stereotypes and was disrespectful. For instance, when Filthy Frank did the Latino greeting, he acted like a criminal. YouTube eventually took down the video for violating its policies, especially regarding discriminatory content. The Filthy Frank wiki about the video says his video was removed due to him being racist and rude about countries. Although YouTube took down the video, you can still find it in other places online. A lot of people loved his sense of humor, but his edgy style just wasn't for everyone. Now he's a successful musician under the name Joji, and his music is pretty good. This next video is pretty iconic in YouTube history, and you guys might just remember it. Leave Britney alone. One of the most emotional videos in YouTube history is the Leave Britney Alone video, but the reason it was deleted is very different from the others on our list. The video was posted in 2007 by a YouTuber named Chris Crocker. He was a regular 19-year-old living in Tennessee, but there was one thing that set him apart. Chris was obsessed with Britney Spears. He absolutely adored her. He was a super fan. Unfortunately, 2007 was a rough year for Britney. Throughout the year, Britney's life seemed like it was spinning out of control. She shaved her head, partied like crazy, and attacked the paparazzi with an umbrella. The media didn't cut her any slack. The tabloids posted embarrassing photos of her and made fun of her struggles.
Britney Spears. She's bald. We've got this photo now from the X17online.com, and it appears to show the pop star shaving her own head.
Britney's career also took a hit. She tried to make a comeback at the MTV Music Awards in September 2007, but her performance was a disaster.
I'm not sure it's over for Britney, but yes, this performance was particularly painful for Britney Spears.
Even her fellow celebrities didn't show her respect.
I feel bad for her. She needs to be looked after.
Well, if she wasn't a famous singer, she probably would be in care.
25 years old, and she's already accomplished everything she's going to accomplish in her life.
Chris Crocker was tired of seeing Britney get picked on, so he decided to step in. He grabbed his camera and recorded a 2-minute video to fight off Britney's haters. He called it Leave Britney Alone. In the video, Chris lies under a sheet, sobbing uncontrollably. He goes on a rant, blasting the media and fans who were being mean to Britney.
I mean it. Anyone who has a problem with her, you deal with me. Because she's not well right now. She hasn't performed on stage in years. Her song is called Give Me More for a reason, because all you people want is more, 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 more.
The video gets even more emotional when Chris begs everyone to just give Britney some space, yelling, "Leave Britney alone" again and again.
Leave Britney alone! Please.
Even though Chris wasn't famous, his video somehow took off and went viral. Within the first 24 hours of its posting, the video accumulated over 2 million views. It was ranked one of YouTube's fastest climbing videos and later became the second most discussed video of all time on the site. There was just one problem. Chris's passionate video did not achieve the desired effect. Instead of people leaving Britney alone, they began mocking Chris.
Leave Britney alone! Please!
Chris, who was only a teenager at the time, became the target of countless jokes. The phrase "Leave Britney alone" turned into a meme used by talk shows, comedians, and people all over the internet.
And how dare anyone out there make fun of Britney after all she's been through?
The sudden attention made Chris famous. He tried to use his new status to break into acting and kickstart a music career. Unfortunately, he didn't have much success. In 2015, about 8 years after the video first came out, Chris made a big decision. He deleted the original Leave Britney Alone video along with his entire YouTube channel. Chris later hinted that the constant toxic comments and the drama after the video played a big role in his decision. After deleting the channel, Chris wrote on Facebook, "My mental health and focusing on positivity is most important." Although the original video disappeared when Crocker deleted his channel, the video was copied and shared so many times that it's still easy to find online. The next deleted video didn't just hurt people's feelings, it hurt them physically too. Happy slapping. In 2005, a series of videos called Happy Slapping Videos appeared on YouTube. Despite the name, there was nothing happy about them. Happy Slapping videos followed a disturbing pattern. A random stranger might be waiting at a bus stop, walking through a park, or just going about their day. Suddenly, out of nowhere, someone would run up and slap them while a friend filmed the whole thing. The victim would be left stunned and embarrassed. Sometimes they'd try to fight back, which only made the situation even more chaotic. Meanwhile, the person who slapped them would take off laughing as they ran away. But the slap wasn't the most humiliating part. The video would be uploaded to YouTube, where it usually got a ton of views. Filming the slap was the whole point because, as people said, a happy slap was just a slap if nobody caught it on camera.
Basically, someone assaults a stranger while being recorded on a camera phone, hopefully creating a video that will go viral on the internet.
At first, people thought these videos were funny because the slap seemed harmless, just light taps on the cheek. But as more people started making these videos, it evolved into something far more aggressive. Young people started hitting strangers with enough force to knock them to the ground. There was even the case of a guy who yelled, "This is YouTube material," while recording himself harassing a stranger. This was no longer funny. It's absolutely insane that people were randomly attacked just so someone else can get internet clout. As these videos spread online, more and more people began to feel sorry for the victims, and the backlash against happy slapping hit like a hurricane. But people didn't just complain, they took legal action. In February 2007, a law was passed making happy slapping a crime in France. In Denmark, a lady was sentenced to 8 months in prison for her part in a violent happy slapping attack. Law enforcement in multiple countries cracked down on happy slapping at the same time. Although the police tried to stop it, happy slapping videos kept showing up on YouTube. In 2007, a UK school principal came up with an insane solution. The government should just ban YouTube. No YouTube would mean no place to share these videos. At the same time, YouTube was under growing pressure to act. Many people felt the platform was enabling bullying by allowing happy slapping videos to stay online. Some users even boycotted YouTube, refusing to use it until the videos were completely removed. With talks of a possible ban, YouTube finally acted and took down most of the happy slapping videos. They also updated their policies to prevent similar videos from being uploaded in the future. YouTube's new policies made it clear: violence, even if it's a prank, is not allowed on the platform. Next up is a video from a YouTuber who's had his fair share of trouble, but this deleted video is definitely one of his worst moments. Logan Paul's response to CoffeeZilla. This video was called Logan Paul's response to CoffeeZilla's scam allegations. But it wasn't just a response, it felt more like a warning or even a threat.
CoffeeZilla, you're slimiest. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, more like an internet criminal.
But here's the kicker. It backfired so badly that the video was deleted out of sheer embarrassment. So what was this video about? The story revolves around two successful YouTubers. On one hand, we have Logan Paul, one of YouTube's biggest stars. And then there's CoffeeZilla, a YouTuber famous for exposing fake gurus and scammers. CoffeeZilla and Logan Paul were in different corners of YouTube and didn't have much to do with each other. That was until CoffeeZilla started investigating one of Logan Paul's most controversial projects, CryptoZoo. CryptoZoo was an NFT game Logan Paul created in 2021. The idea was simple. Players could buy NFT animals, then later sell them or trade them to make a profit. It was supposed to be like Pokemon, but for NFTs. Logan spent months hyping up CryptoZoo, convincing thousands of his fans to invest in the project.
So that was the idea pitched to people, and people immediately buy in. They $3 million in NFT sales, tens of millions of dollars in the tokens itself.
But CryptoZoo ended up being a total disaster. No playable game was ever released, and Logan abandoned the project 6 months after convincing thousands of his followers to invest. Those who invested in CryptoZoo felt scammed, and they ran to CoffeeZilla for help. In December 2022, CoffeeZilla released a video called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam. In his video, CoffeeZilla spoke to dozens of CryptoZoo investors who lost money.
I lost around $50,000 in CryptoZoo.
I lost $40,000.
I lost around $15,000 US.
I lost $25,000.
But the most damning part of Coffee's video was when he shared evidence suggesting that CryptoZoo might have been a scam from the start. CoffeeZilla's video was a huge blow to Logan Paul's already shaky reputation, and it hurt his ego. In an attempt to defend himself, Logan recorded a fiery 7-minute response video. That brings us to the video we talked about earlier, Logan Paul's response to CoffeeZilla's scam allegations. From the first second of the video, Logan came out swinging. He said CoffeeZilla only investigated CryptoZoo to benefit himself, not to help the victims.
CoffeeZilla. I watched your 3-part series called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, and like many on this platform, you have successfully used my name for views and money.
Then Logan tried to point out all the mistakes in Coffee's investigation.
Your addiction to clicks has clouded your judgment, and you've made very real errors with very real repercussions. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda.
When Logan wasn't criticizing CoffeeZilla, he acted like the victim, blaming other people for CryptoZoo's failure.
Had rats under my nose, stole the game code, millions of dollars, and left Jeff and I abandoned with no team and knives in our back. I guess that's what I get for trusting the team that I relied on to vet and manage Eddie's hiring process,
who has turned out to be a professional con man.
But the worst part of Logan's response was when he threatened to sue CoffeeZilla.
I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it. We're gonna handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
Instead of helping his case, Logan's response ruined his reputation. He came off as cocky and defensive, which made him look guilty. It seemed Logan was more interested in attacking CoffeeZilla than helping those who lost money in CryptoZoo. Before long, other YouTubers made videos mocking Logan for threatening to sue CoffeeZilla.
I have even less faith in you to make good choices. This doesn't discredit anything. At all, actually. This just makes you look worse.
The backlash was so intense that Logan eventually deleted his response video, but by then, millions already watched it. Later, Logan uploaded a new video to respond to CoffeeZilla, but this time, instead of threatening him, Logan apologized.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal. I called him, I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire and ego.
Logan also promised to fix CryptoZoo and make things right for everyone who lost money. In January 2024, he announced a $2.3 million buyback program to repay CryptoZoo investors. It was unfortunate how CryptoZoo turned out, but at least they gave us one of YouTube's most notorious deleted videos. Sometimes YouTubers get so excited they don't stop to think about how their videos might impact others. That's exactly what happened in our next deleted video. The PewDiePie sign. PewDiePie is one of the most popular YouTubers in the world, but even his massive popularity couldn't stop YouTube from deleting one of his videos in 2017. Just 1 month earlier, in December 2016, PewDiePie became the first YouTuber to reach 50 million subscribers.
Also, we gained 50 million subscribers.
At that point, he was making around $14 million a year from ads and sponsorships. Huge brands like Disney were collaborating with him, and he was about to release the second season of his show, Scare PewDiePie. Life was great for PewDiePie, but all the success came with pressure. To keep his 50 million subscribers entertained, PewDiePie needed to post exciting videos regularly. If he slowed down or put out boring videos, it could keep him from growing.
You know, even though it might not seem like it, I really care about every single video I make. I make sure it's the best it can be. I do daily content after all.
Just weeks after hitting 50 million subscribers, PewDiePie came up with a dumb video idea that almost ruined his career. PewDiePie decided to make a video where he would check out strange services available on the internet to show how crazy the modern world is. To find online services, he went on Fiverr, which is a website with thousands of freelancers.
I said a whole bunch of stuff off
There's
camera. I
a website called
apologize.
Fiverr where you basically can ask anyone for anything for $5.
PewDiePie wanted to see just how far people would go to earn $5 on Fiverr. To start, he chose a service that caught his interest.
But my favorite is Your Message On, where these guys, for example, will paint your message on my body and dance in the jungle.
PewDiePie came up with the most outrageous phrase he could imagine, something no one would ever say in public. Then he offered freelancers $5 to hold up a sign with that phrase on it. I can't repeat the exact phrase because I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube, but it was a terrible thing to say. It read, "Death to all members of a certain religious group."
Here we go.
Yikes.
Sign to behold. Death to all.
Here's where PewDiePie made things worse. Instead of hiring freelancers who knew what they were getting into, PewDiePie paid 2 freelancers from India to hold up the sign.
Exclusive on Fiverr for $5.
The men, known as the Funny Guys, lived in a rural area in India. They didn't fully understand the meaning of the words PewDiePie asked them to write, but for $5, they did it. They recorded themselves laughing and dancing while holding the offensive sign. Then they sent the video to PewDiePie and received their $5. In January 2017, PewDiePie shared the video on YouTube. He expected his fans to laugh at what people would do for $5, but they didn't find it funny at all. News outlets around the world picked up the story, accusing PewDiePie of promoting violence. Reporters dug up other controversial videos on PewDiePie's channel, including one that showed a man dressed as Jesus saying Hitler did absolutely nothing wrong. But PewDiePie wasn't the only one getting criticized. The Fiverr freelancers from from India who held up the sign were also in trouble. Fiverr.com was created by Israelis, and PewDiePie's sign was a direct insult to their people. To punish the Indian freelancers, Fiverr banned their accounts, preventing them from getting any freelance jobs on the platform. Desperate, the Indians made an apology video saying that they didn't know what the message on the sign meant.
Extremely sorry for the mistake we have made in the video. Please forgive us. We really don't know what the message meant while making the video.
They also said that losing their Fiverr accounts took away their main source of income. Everyone felt bad for them. Even PewDiePie tried to help them and get back on Fiverr.
Now PewDiePie on Twitter publicly reached out to them saying, at Fiverr, get them back their account. Please ban me, it's fine, but doesn't seem fair to ban these guys.
As far as I know, the Indian freelancers never got their Fiverr accounts back. But the situation was hurting PewDiePie too. Reporters reached out to companies working with PewDiePie, asking how they felt about his offensive video. In response, major brands including Disney terminated their deals with him. YouTube also canceled Scare PewDiePie Season 2 and removed them from the Google Preferred program, making him lose a ton of money. As the backlash continued, the video disappeared from PewDiePie's channel. It's not clear if YouTube deleted it because it violated their policies or if PewDiePie took it down himself. However, PewDiePie did apologize, saying, "I think of the content that I create as entertainment and not a place for any serious political commentary. Though this was not my intention, I understand that these jokes were ultimately offensive." However, this scandal didn't destroy PewDiePie's career. He bounced back and is still one of the biggest YouTubers today. This next chapter is about a family who took their pursuit of fame too far. In the end, they lost not one but hundreds of their YouTube videos. Daddy05. Daddy05 was one of YouTube's biggest family channels, racking up 167 million views. But in 2017, their content became so toxic that YouTube was forced to delete all of their videos. So how did they go from fun family vlogs to content so shocking it couldn't stay on the internet? When Daddy05 launched their channel in 2015, they seemed like the perfect family. Their About section even proudly said, "We as a family decided to make this YouTube channel just for fun." The videos gave viewers a peek into the daily lives of Mike and Heather Martin and their 5 kids. Each child brought their own unique personality, and it was obvious the parents really enjoyed spending time with them. Their content felt so real and relatable that it didn't take long for the channel to blow up. At its peak, they had around 750,000 subscribers watching their family adventures. And suddenly, one bad idea transformed them from a loving family to a family from hell. The problem began because they wanted more views. Mike Martin, the dad, noticed an interesting trend. The more outrageous their videos were, the more views they got.
The ones just showing them as a happy family home don't get that many views. But when they push the envelope, when they use the profanity, when they have fights and arguments, they see those get those clicks, and they kept trying to push the envelope and they lost their way.
To get more views, Mike Martin set out to make the most chaotic and offensive family videos on YouTube. And that's when things went downhill. Daddy05 needed to make shocking content, and they came up with a perfect way to do that. They would prank the kids. But these weren't the kind of pranks you would expect. Instead of lighthearted jokes, they often involved yelling, swearing, and sometimes got physical.
What are you doing? What the did you just do to her dick?
As Daddy05 became more popular, the pranks became more extreme. Their young son Cody was often the target. One of the worst incidents was the disappearing ink prank. In the video, the parents poured invisible ink on the carpet, making it look like it was ruined. Then they accused Cody and his brother Alex of spilling the ink and ruining the carpet.
The controversial video shows parents Michael and Heather Martin spraying disappearing ink in their son's bedroom and then blaming him for it.
When the boys denied it, the parents screamed at them, calling them liars. When things got really intense, the parents suddenly burst into laughter, revealing it was all a joke. But Cody and Alex didn't laugh back. They just looked scared and upset. Their video views skyrocketed. But the videos triggered another unexpected effect. Viewers began to worry about the kids. What Mike and Heather called jokes was actually bullying. Eventually, people decided enough was enough. Viewers flooded YouTube with complaints reporting the channel. Parents, psychologists, and even lawyers spoke out demanding the Martins lose custody of their children. Under all this pressure, things quickly fell apart for Mike and Heather Martin. At first, they tried to defend themselves. They claimed the pranks were just for fun and insisted the kids knew it was all a joke.
We really never meant for any of this to be taken this way.
But their main excuse was that they were doing it for shock value. Their exact words were, "We keep going more and more for the shock factor versus reality to see what could get more views."
They would get excited when they would get a lot of views, and you know, it was more for shock value.
But the backlash kept growing. Eventually, the Martins removed their most controversial videos and posted a tearful apology. They even hired a crisis consultant to help them deal with the fallout from the videos. But the damage was done, and nothing would ever be the same for the Daddy-O-5 family. In August 2017, Mike and Heather were arrested for how they treated the kids on their YouTube channel. To avoid jail time, they took a plea deal and were sentenced to 5 years of supervised probation. That same year, a court ordered that Cody and Emma, the youngest children, be removed from the Martins' home and placed with their biological mother.
The Maryland couple who famously pranked their children for their YouTube channel has lost custody of 2 of the 5 children in the home.
In July 2018, YouTube took the final step, deleting all of the Daddy-O-5 videos and permanently banning the channel. This next deleted video caused so much drama, it made some people stop watching YouTube altogether. The disturbing Elsa Gate. A few years ago, YouTube was under a lot of backlash. The only way they survived was by deleting hundreds of videos. Those deleted videos were called the Elsagate videos, and this is the dark story behind them. Between 2016 and 2017, weird thumbnails like these started popping up on YouTube. At first glance, you see familiar faces like Elsa from Frozen and Spider-Man, but if you pay attention to the titles and how they're posing, you realize something's off. Anyone who clicked on these thumbnails was in for a nasty surprise. Instead of fun, kid-friendly content, the videos showed disturbing and straight-up creepy scenes.
There was an episode where I saw a popular character, and I think it was Peppa Pig again. They'd actually set fire to a house with one of the other characters in it.
Some videos showed Elsa and Spider-Man with huge needles acting out bizarre hospital scenes. Others showed Peppa Pig crying or being chased. Some videos even showed cartoon characters doing intimate things that are not suitable for kids to watch.
Peppa Pig drinking bleach. Those are just some of the troubling videos that slipped through the filters.
The problem was that there wasn't just 1 or 2 videos like this. There were thousands on YouTube, and some children couldn't tell the difference between these creepy cartoons and their regular kids' cartoons.
She was not aware. She thought it was Peppa Pig. She just wanted me to not take it away from her because she was engrossed in what the video was.
This disturbing trend became known as Elsagate. The name came from Elsa, one of the main cartoon characters in these videos, and the word gate, which is a term used to describe major scandals. But that doesn't answer the biggest question. Why would anyone create such weird videos using popular cartoon characters? Some content creators figured out that using famous kids characters like Elsa or Spider-Man could bring in tons of views, and with those views came big money from ads. By making videos that were purposely shocking or weird, they could take advantage of kids' curiosity and the fact that they often watch videos over and over. To make as much money as possible, they pumped out these videos fast. Each video would rake in hundreds of thousands or even millions of views, which meant more money in their pockets. These videos were low quality and didn't follow real stories, just random unsettling moments.
It's like, this stuff is crazy.
It's weird.
I didn't even know about this.
They dress up in these cartoons. They have little babies that are dressed up like Spider-Man or like Elsa. And like this scene keeps happening over and over again.
Before long, everyone was talking about Elsagate. Parents, teachers, and the media. The news called the videos nonsensically nightmarish and pretty twisted for children's content.
Inappropriate videos have infiltrated YouTube Kids. One click, and it's down the rabbit hole. Video suggestions after that growing more and more deranged.
Child psychologists warned that watching such strange and violent scenes could confuse or scare children.
It's going to be confusion. Like, I'm expecting one thing, I'm used to one thing, and now
It doesn't make sense. It's unfamiliar.
Some angry parents even reported the strange videos to the cops, but the cops couldn't really help.
And we've received complaints about the difficulty for police is those kinds of videos are not illegal.
Before long, people stopped pointing fingers at the creators of these videos and started blaming YouTube itself. Parents were furious, demanding that YouTube step in and get rid of the disturbing content. Some even banned their kids from watching YouTube altogether. To save its reputation, the platform began mass deleting thousands of these so-called ElsaGate videos. In November 2017, YouTube announced that it terminated more than 270 accounts and removed over 150,000 videos that fell into the ElsaGate category. YouTube also demonetized nearly 2 million videos with questionable kids content. But the most important thing YouTube did was update its policy, announcing that creators would no longer be able to monetize videos that made inappropriate use of family-friendly characters. These deleted videos show us that what you share online can have consequences far beyond what you expect. It's a reminder to be careful what you post because it stays around long after you hit delete. After all, the internet is written in pen, not pencil. Read that again. Visual venture. If you guys like this video, you guys would like my video on YouTube's most hated videos of all time. Make sure you guys subscribe and then click here to watch it. Love you guys. Peace.
All right, that's good timing. So here it is. Here is the Guntank. I'm sorry. I'll put them together. HGUC Guntank. The treads do not roll, unfortunately. They're static. The wheels are. I thought they could rotate. They don't. They're fixed. I wish they could, but maybe that's too hard to engineer. Whatever. I don't know what these bits in the front and the rear are for. I might have to glue those in. Some thrusters on the bottom so it can like the arms have, you know, these shoulders, elbows, double elbow kind of, because there's a joint in the wrist and a joint at the actual elbow, so together you can get about 90 degrees. The shoulder armor moves out of the way. That's decent. I mean, the gun can never did a whole lot. The head can turn left and right, up and down a little bit. I like that you can see the pilot in there. That's unique to this one. You don't see that in the other two because the pilot sits in the core fighter. That's another unique element about the gun cannon. The core fighter is not molded into this. It's molded into like the real grade, in the master grade kit. There's not a real grade of this, but the master grade will have the core fighter. It's a shared feature between all three gun units, original gun units from the 1 Year War original series timeline. Which is that the central bit forms the cockpit, which folds up. Folds up and becomes the basis. There's supposed to actually that's the cockpit right there. There's supposed to be a person there and a person here. You can see it on the Gundam. Oh, it's hidden. Anyway, that's the thing. There's a cockpit in the middle, in the chest, and then a cockpit in the head, which is unique because the others only have one pilot. The idea is that one person drives it and one person shoots, one person aims. So you gotta, and they can actually separate. And it did that at once. So here is the RX-75 gun cannon, RX-77, Guntank, gun cannon, and Gundam. The three units that were used by the White Base in the 1 Year War in the first Gundam series. My gun cannon is not HGUC, but it's better than HGUC, so, you know, whatever. I should probably get a non-HGUC Gundam, but it's not that bad. I mean, this is the HGUC Revive, or whatever you want to call it, from, like, 2011, I think it was, or no, 2015. Broke his hand off. I've got more parts for him somewhere. I'll dig them out next time when I do some photography. So yeah, it's shorter but beefier than the other two, which, you know, makes sense. Its goal is to provide long-range artillery. The gun cannon provides short-range artillery, and the Gundam itself is close-range versatility. Here it is with a Zaku. I don't recall it really ever facing off with a Zaku, but, you know, they fought a lot of battles. No, we faced off with some generic Zakus. Char might have, like, shot at the gun cannon a few times. Guntank. I always get that backwards. At the Guntank. That's because this is Char's Zaku specifically. And here is a Dom, which I built off camera a month or two ago. Because I like purple. This has always stuck out to me. But yeah, this is a Dom. They feel similar. I can't explain it. I guess it's just the stockiness. Yeah, this is the Dom. Not the Rick Dom. I don't have the Rick Dom parts in it. Yeah, just regular Dom. Those are my only two Xeon kits right now. I need to get more. I need to get a Goof, probably a regular Zaku or some... Well, that's getting dangerous territory. Because you can build an army of Zakus and you'll never have enough. Goof. Gelgoogs. Ak guys. There's a lot of stuff they used. Trying to think. Anyway, I do need more Xeon. I need more Xeon troops. I'll see what I can do about that while staying under budget. But yeah, I'm gonna get some good lit photos of these guys, and then I'll, yeah. I'll just go ahead and tell you what's coming up. Put this back in your hand. So, on my to build pile over here, I've got let's see, yeah. Next year, as promised, I'm going to ring in the new year with the new Gundam. There's some space here. So that'll be first build of the new year is the new Gundam. Yeah, and then I've also got I was going to do this would have been probably in this week's build if I had done the gun cannon Guntank last week, but I'll put it in the new year. No Bell Gundam will be early in the year. I was going to do this off camera, but I think I'll do it on camera instead. I've got the Netflix Requiem for Vengeance Gundam. Haven't even watched the movie. I'll need to do so. Need to get the Zaku as well, probably. And then this was my Christmas gift. I got Kamen Rider Kuga Ultimate Form. I still need to track down Pegasus Form. No. Yes. No. Yeah, Pegasus Form. And then the Rising Mighty, Amazing Mighty set. And then I'll have all the Kugas. And then I'll probably go back and get like extras so I can build 2 forms at once. But that's a different story. Anyway, that's what's coming up. I've got about 6 kits. Just in a warehouse in Japan. A couple haven't actually shown up in stock yet, but I know they're getting there. Bunch of stuff in stock, just waiting to ship from Japan. If I pad these out, 1, 2, 3, 4. New Gundam's probably gonna take 2 weeks. Actually, I'll just go ahead and estimate 2 weeks for all the Gundams. Because I'm pushing close to 3 hours first night for what I thought was gonna be an easy kit. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. But that's what's coming up. Yeah. I don't even know what I want to say here. That's what's coming up in the episode. I will have eventually J. Decker from J. Decker, Duke Fire also from J. Decker. I will have the... What's in my pile? Hang on. Open orders. Okay, I've got J. Decker, Victory Mars, King Jader with Silverian Hammer, King Urger Zero, Duke Fire, and Bull Taurus. All waiting for me at Hobby Genki to ship out. That'll be a big order. I'm going to take slow shipping, so, 2-3 months. So even if I ship it January 1st, it'll show up at like end of February, middle of March, possibly. So we'll just see what happens. I don't have enough kits to last through that long of a backlog, but I could just take a break. I could do some live painting. I don't know, because I need to check out these. I need to try out these. I'm showing the wrong camera view. I need to try out these markers I got for Christmas that I requested. So yeah. They're supposed to be about the same as Dispia, but more colors. So we shall see how they go. I'm rambling at this point. I apologize. So let me get back to my view here. Next week, new Gundam, new year, new Gundam, and then from there, we'll see what happens. Try not to buy too many kits before, other than the ones I've got on order. Maybe I will just try to switch back to game streams again. I don't know. As well as some paint streams, some customizing streams. But yeah, until then, thank you all very much for coming out. Have a great rest of your night. If you're watching my replay, have a great day. And I will see you next week.